closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real-action cash game poker. I'm back from the dead. I'm here with my buddy Dave Tuckman. It's Tuesday, which means it's a little 300 to 500, no limit hold'em. Now, interesting thing, I actually PM'd our buddy Kev Math over on 2+2. If you actually check out the Lakers website, which would be www.nba.com/Lakers. There's a big advertisement for Live at the Bike right on the right-hand side. And that is going...
It's kind of cool. Try that again.
Keep it that way the whole night.
That's good.
And that's going to be on there for the rest of the year. And hopefully the Lakers will continue. I mean, they're going to make it past the first round.
Are you rooting for the Lakers, actually, when they play the Clippers?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think I'm going to be a Clippers fan.
All right, well, let's head to the table. Let's get into the action. Let's start it up.
It's Clipper time. It's Clipper time. Okay, well, seat number 1, we've got George.
No, of course the Bicycle Casino has a wonderful relationship with the Lakers.
Seat number 2, we've got David. And that's Kelsey, we like to call him. A vote for Pedro. Seat number 3, we've got Gus. Familiar mainstay there. Seat number 4, we've got good old Bob. And, I think I've actually played with Bob before. I think I played a tournament with him at the Bellagio.
Interesting.
Somebody asked me if he's a big Red Sox fan. That's the last time I thought I saw him.
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll see. Seat number 5 is Jamie. Or is that Jaime, actually? Jaime, thank you. There you go. Yeah. Seat number 6, we've got Jerry.
Will we get this bio together before we start this?
Seat number 7, we've got Boston.
This is the first one on TV, right?
Seat number 8, we've got Aaron. And, none of these players really need an introduction. They're all pretty much Live at the Bike mainstays. And seat number 9, we've got Cy, another Live at the Bike mainstay. No newcomers.
Funny, Donna asked Bob if he was a big Red Sox fan when you were introducing him. And it seemed like he got thrown off. I think he's upset by the question. All right, Bud moves over here to Boston for the first hand of the night.
Well, if he played at the Bellagio, there's only a couple people that have played there, so it must be him.
I was going to say, I didn't know there was one of those.
I got to tell you. Now, I know you've done the show a couple times by yourself, and I've done the show a couple times now by myself. Now, last night, I got to say, was one of the few nights that I really could have used you. I mean, I got a couple of hate mails here saying, Dave, you suck. Where's Bart? Some guy yelled at me because he thought I was feigning interest in the game.
You get these at the shop at Common.
I thought I was feigning interest quite well, actually.
What is it?
No, it's a live straddle.
Live straddle. Gus raises with ace jack. Aaron plays really loose. He's going to call it ace 5.
Well, they called over there.
Size in there with 6, 10 of clubs here, Dave. Wow. And we know George. Remember him from last week.
Yeah, George is and he's got a lot of chips. Anytime George has got a lot of chips, he's going to be...
$200 pot here, 5 ways. Gus brought it in with ace jack.
Well, there's a set of 8s for David.
Yep, top set here. And Size got a flush draw. David Kelsey's got a set of 8s, $200 pot. I would be really shocked if Kelsey doesn't bet right into Gus here, because can you really afford to let Gus check behind everybody with 2 high cards?
Yeah, the problem is that Kelsey's in late, and he checked.
Oh, look at that. Gus checks right behind him.
Oh, my God.
And now he makes quads. Well, got to put some money in there now.
You wonder, though, is George going to think his 4 is good now? And George has picked up a diamond draw.
I think Kelsey should bet $100 here on the turn. All right, Cy's going to bet 35.
Well, he's betting with his flush draw.
And look at this, George is going to raise.
Well, he's now got 2 pair with the diamond draw. Why wouldn't he think his 4 is good? I'd probably do the same play. And now Kelsey's thinking of what to do here. And I got to tell you, I probably just smooth call this.
Well, now you do. I mean, you're talking about building a pot, but other people are doing
it's
it
already
for
built
you now.
Exactly.
So
the
it's
pot
okay.
is now almost $400.
And now maybe you get Cy to call with a flush draw from behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now he's got a lot of cards that he can catch. And I'll give you some of the cards, obviously. You want a diamond or a club, pretty much, right? That does not pair the board.
The pot is about. The pot is like, it was $450, only about $50 a call for Cy. Well, actually, yeah, Cy calls. This pot's $600, and everyone's drawing dead to Kelsey. Well, the river's a 10, and Cy makes top pair now.
Yes, I might pay it off a little bit here.
I like a nice $250 to $300 bet here.
Oh, definitely.
Give your guys 3 to 1.
Wait a second. Look at this. He bets 100.
George is going to bet 100 into about a $600 pot.
Well, I mean, he's got 2 pair. I'm not sure what the value of this bet is here. Is it kind of a blockish bet because he doesn't want to face a big bluff?
Let me ask you this question. Kelsey's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 left. The pot is now 700. Do you move in here? And you hope maybe the guy's got middle set? I mean, what, are you going to raise it to 200? I think I just move in here.
I got to tell you, I probably move in here as well.
I mean, you just hope that maybe George has something like a set of 4s or a set of
Well, the problem
deuces.
is it's really difficult to put him on an 8. Remember, he was in late position, right?
Well, and you have both of the 8s in your hand.
No,
So
I'm
it's very
saying
difficult to
I'm
put
saying
Kelsey
Kelsey.
on an 8.
It's difficult for George to put Kelsey on an 8.
Yeah.
Because remember, think about it. He's in last position.
Right.
He didn't bet top pair. Well, you wouldn't put him on top set. Maybe you put him on bottom set.
And let's see if he's going to push here. I think the pot's big enough where he probably can push.
Well, that's the whole thing. If you're going to get called, you're going to get called anyway.
Exactly. He's going to make a mini. He's going to make a little mini raise.
Yeah.
Now the problem here again, though, is I think the situation. What happens here, and maybe I'm wrong if Cy calls, is that you're going to get a call here, where you would have gotten a call if you pushed, and then you're also going to get a fold if you would have gotten a fold if you pushed with what the pot size was.
I would imagine if Cy folds this, George might call.
Yeah.
And if Cy calls, obviously George is going to fold. And here,
Right.
Cy gets away from it, and George might call. He might lay this down anyway. It doesn't make a difference. I think he knows he's beat here.
That's why I said I think that you push there. All right, yeah, you get both people to fold. And again,
Same difference.
everybody always talks about, well, yeah, I want him to call, but you know what? You want to make the most amount of money if the other guy has a monster as well.
I agree with you.
You know what I
100%.
mean? It's just,
In that case, obviously, he put a mini raise in there and still didn't get a call.
I mean,
so
if you
why
get
not move
called there by, say, if you get called there by, say, a set of 4s or an overpair, say, like jacks or something like that, don't you think you left money on the table?
in? Of course you did.
So I just don't understand them. I don't really
We see it all the
understand
time.
raise there
Somebody,
at the end.
in the end, a lot of people always say, well, I want to get called. And you've got to realize that if somebody has nothing, they're not going to call a mini raise. They're also not going to call you a moving all in.
Right.
So it makes no difference. But if they have something, well, you might as well make the most out of it.
Yeah.
And Kelsey wins himself a big pot there with quad 8s.
Again, you can keep the show interactive by emailing us at live@thebike.com. Follow a live thread on 2+2, 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on forums.
So just out of curiosity, I don't want to belabor the point, but where exactly were you last night? People want to know.
I wish I went and I bought a bottle of NyQuil at Walgreens and proceeded to drink it.
That's
and slept
exciting.
for about 17 hours.
Man, that's sexy. That really is.
Three-way action here.
So you didn't get laid.
No, in my dreams, I guess. I went into a deep dream state there.
Well, there you go. Okay.
Jerry's going to bet 50 here. He's going to bet 50 on a bluff. I think he might have raised it pre-flop here. Can't quite tell. King 7.
Yeah, and Jerry's going to take this down.
Yeah.
You know, I walked by Jerry as I was walking in today at about 5:30, and Jerry looks at me, starts screaming. He goes, "I got seat 6." He was so excited about it. He's pumped up about playing on Live to Bike, man. I tell you.
I got to tell you, it was fun. Barry Woods, he sent us an email. He said he was going to play at the other casino on Wednesday. And
I tell you, he's such a slut.
I love the guy. I just, it's funny. We were talking about maybe somebody told them that, people were watching his game too much, and that's why, he's been on a bad streak. And I wonder if those people are Kelsey and Gus. because I couldn't disagree with them more. I mean, Barry is going through a variance dip, as many poker players do, and it's got nothing to do with being on the show. Now, if he wants to change it up, then, you know,
it really has
fine.
nothing to do whatsoever.
Yeah.
In actuality, most of the plays, if anything, a lot of the play that he does on the show gives him some more respect because people don't bluff him anymore.
Right. Kelsey's going to raise it up here with King Queen suited.
Yeah, and he's going to take it down.
Yeah. I mean, for him too, and I had a brief conversation with him about his play on Friday, and I basically told him, I didn't think you really played that bad, Barry. I mean, the one with the aces, when he called with aces, I think a super lag can get you to make some calls you might normally make.
Right, anybody's wondering what happened in that hand. I watched it on Saturday, by the way, when Orlando, who's really a super lag, a very aggressive, loose player,
right,
flop trip king.
And you're going to go bust with Queen 8 against Ace Queen there against that guy probably too.
Oh, not even a question. The flop comes out Ace Queen 8.
I told Barry,
I have Queen 8. Hey,
I said, Barry, this is how he complimented me. He said, Barry, I've seen you play a lot worse. I think you played like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Don't let it discourage you, because he was kind of really bent out of shape after the show. So I just think hopping into like playing in a different place at a high level when you don't know any of the players is really difficult to do.
Yeah, it might be really, really difficult, because now he's got to realize that playing here doesn't change anything, because here everybody knows who he is, but he knows who everybody else is. Well, now if he goes to the Commerce or he goes somewhere else to play, the problem is everybody else there still might know who he is, but he won't know who anybody else is.
Boston's brought this one in for a raise. He's brought it in for 25 with Ace-Jack suited. And look at this. Aaron is going to call with King Deuce. Size in there with 8-9. George is in there with 5-3. We've got a lot of loose players on the table here.
Yeah, it's a pretty... it'll be an interesting night, actually. It should be a lot of fun poker tonight.
It's about a $100 pot here going 4 ways. King 9-3. Well, Aaron's hit top pair. I don't know if that's the flop you're looking for with King Deuce.
Not generally. I mean, everybody else is a pair except for Boston. Boston's completely missed this flop.
I'd imagine that Boston's probably not going to fire out.
No, it looks Sai's going to put some money in there.
Well, Aaron checked it. Aaron checked the King Deuce. And again, I mean, that's...
And George is calling, and I think that I imagine King Deuce is going to... Well, what do I know?
He's going to overcall. I was going to say, you can't play King Deuce hard. I wasn't surprised that he checked.
I was going to say, if you get a bet and a call, how do you overcall with King Deuce?
Pot's now 250. The turn's a 5, and George has hit bottom 2 pair now. $250 pot. It's obviously time for George to bet if it gets checked to him. He probably should bet something like 200. Oh, he's going to bet 150 here.
That's a decent bet. That's about 70% of the pot.
Yeah, it's going to be a $400 pot, 150 to call. And Aaron check raises all in with King Deuce. Are you kidding me?
Now, the problem with a hand like this is you are only going to get called by a hand that can beat you. I just don't see much fold equity. I guess you could get King Jack to lay down. Or King 10 to lay down?
Well, it's 220 more now, which means that the pot is now about $1,000, 220 to call. How on earth could you ever lay 3-5 down?
No, of course you're not going to lay this down. I mean, you've got to start putting your opponent on hands. The 5 certainly didn't complete anything for him, which would mean he sandbagged something on the flop. And I guess you could put him on a set of 9s.
Well, he's getting 4-1 almost on the call. Did you see some of the other hands on Saturday too? And the guy folded Ace King.
Yeah, I saw that.
Guy, but the guy in C5.
And how about Dr. Beebe laying down Queen 7? I mean, I don't know what these guys are thinking. It amazed me. I was watching it. I'm going, man, I was all excited. I went to that Laker game. Figured you would get a pretty piss-poor night. And you had a great night.
Again, the pot's 950, 220 to call, and George is going to make the call.
And the pot is now over $1,200. Best about.
And Aaron says, nice call. I think he knows his beat. The river's a 7. Like you said, Aaron could have caught a 9, a king, or a deuce for the win.
And the problem with Aaron's play there is now you wonder, could he get a King Jack or a King 10 off the hand? The problem is, at that point, you're giving your opponent 4-1 on his money.
Leaders are in 1 and 2, I believe.
And as long as he has something, now obviously if George has no pair, no draw, yeah, you're going to get him to lay down that. And George is capable of having no pair, no draw there. But as long as he has some sort of piece of that flop, you're going to get him to call.
Like the greatest movie you've never seen a movie before?
Once again, we're live at the bite, folks. I'm David Tuckman, here with Bart Hansen. Good to have him back. We're playing No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 5 and 5. Button is moved over to seat number 2.
Napoleon Dynamite. Did you?
Again, playing 5 and 5 blinds.
And I think we're going to see this 4 ways. Oh, wow. Actually, Gus is going to raise this up a little bit. He's going to bump it up with pocket deuces and the small blinds. He gets called by Jerry. And you imagine Cy is going to call as well. And Cy does call. Pot is $50 now to the flop. Queen, King, Jack, 8. Jerry's open-ended, but Cy's got top pair. Not a good flop for deuces at all. And it checks around to Cy. Now, Cy is going to bet with his king. And Gus, I imagine, is going to lay down the deuces pretty quickly. He opted to raise out of the blinds, but did not follow through with the bet. And I imagine now he's going to fold it. And you wonder if Jared's going to get involved. There is a 2 flush out there. But heads up, sometimes you can get involved there. Can't necessarily, you might put your opponent on a king and not necessarily diamonds. And in this case, you actually would rather your opponent have a king than diamonds. And Jerry's not going to get involved. Throws it away. And the turn card would have brought a... turn card would have brought a 4. Wouldn't have done anything, and obviously, when you're going for draws and no limit hold'em, you pay that first price, you only get to see 1 card. You know, oftentimes somebody goes, well, I have a flush draw, I'm going to make my flush 1 out of 3 times. Well, only if you get to see the turn and the river, and you've got to realize you're paying a price for the turn, and then you've got to pay a separate price for the river, and if the player you're playing against is good, well, he's going to price you out of your draw. Button moves over to seat number 3.
Yep, that's Gus. Gus and Kelsey play a lot, obviously, on the show.
Yeah.
So did you watch most of Saturday's game? Because it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't sit there for the entire 3 hours, but I made sure I watched the first hour, which you told me the first was really, really interesting. Then I kind of went in and out.
Got a raise here by David Kelsey. He's got ace 9 of spades. He's going to make it 40.
And Kelsey's going to take this down without a flop.
Yep, no one's going to get involved with him there.
Kelsey's got a lot of money now. We got the makings for a couple of big pots here. I mean, seat number 1, George has got, I want to say George has got well over $1,000. Now Kelsey has over $1,000 as well. We've got the makings for some big poker. And with the blinds only being 5-5, you know, that's pretty deep stack poker. I mean, in some ways, this game actually is almost deep. Is it almost deeper than the 25-50 games? You know, let's say you buy in for that game for only $3,000. You only have 60 times the big
people
blinds.
don't normally buy in or are ever, you know, all that deep in the 25-50 games in terms of, say, 300 to 500 times the big blind.
Well, in this case, I mean, in this game here, that would be the equivalent of 200 times. It would be the same equivalent of having $10,000
right
in the big game on Wednesday.
Limped around here, and Boston's got overcards and a flush draw. He's going to bet 20 with the king 10 of hearts.
And is Aaron going to get involved here, the 4-5? I mean, not really the flop you're looking for with 4-5.
Well, he's going to make the call. Doesn't look like anyone really has, you know, much out there that can really get involved here. Gus has got Jack 8 of hearts, and he's got top pair with a flush draw. There we go. So he flopped a really big hand.
Yeah. And did he raise it up?
Yeah, he made it 80. $20 bet, a call, and he makes it 80.
Now, in a game like this, depending on how much money I have, if I have king 10 of hearts here, I might push. I might bet it, and if I get raised, I might push. And if somebody has jack 8 of hearts, hey, man, so be it. But normally somebody might have, say, ace 8 or something like that, and I'm live with my overcards.
Boston's going to call here, and as you can see, he's probably a favorite. Well, he's got a 2 over, so a slight favorite. And look at this. The heart comes on the turn.
Yeah.
And Boston's got the second nut flush, and Gus also has a flush. And the pot right now is about $200. Let's see how Boston's going to play this one.
I mean, in the case of Boston, now Boston obviously smooth called this, and in this case he got really lucky, caught a heart, and he's going to get action from Gus as well.
And he's going to bet. He's going to bet $150 into a $200 pot here.
And Gus is just thinking about the way to play this here. He is drawing dead. He cannot win this pot. Now, Boston obviously had a lot of outs there. He could have caught a heart. Now, instead of normally being 9, he only had 7 hearts to catch. But he also could have caught a king or a 10 to win that hand. And Gus is going to move all in, and Boston's quickly going to call.
Yep, and Gus is drawing dead here. River does not make any difference. And Boston's going to take it down there with the king high flush. And that pot is going to be...
Trying to see how much money Gus has there.
700 or 800.
Yeah. Now, I mean, what do you think about that play there? Now, obviously in a deeper game, when you're really, really deep, you might not want to commit that many chips with just a draw. But I think of an 8-2-4 board. I have king 10 of hearts. I bet the guy raises. I move all in there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, unless this guy is doing it with, say, ace 8 of hearts.
I thought you had the ace.
I like my hand. I really do.
Yeah, in that case, though, you know, if you saw the cards turned over, so the fact 2 of the hearts are dead.
Yeah, I mean, even there, though, I still have 7 outs plus 3 kings and 3 10s. I still have 13 outs.
Yeah, it's
for the
still
win.
almost 50-50.
I mean, we saw it was only, 47-53.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to push.
Sorry.
I mean, I might be pushing there. It might be a little bit negative EV, but plus there's a little bit of dead money in there already. Hey, I'm going to put the pressure on him. Now, in that case, I think Gus is quickly going to call. But I want to put some pressure on a guy, let's say he only has, say, 9-8. Or even ace-8 without the hearts.
So, again, you can check out the Lakers website, Dave. NBA.com/Lakers. Look at the Live at the Bike advertisement.
Yeah, I was telling everybody that how much I enjoyed the Laker game.
Yeah.
Sweet. It was really fantastic. You next time it's your chance to go.
Yeah,
Sure.
Thursday next time. $40 raise here by Dave
Well,
Kelsey.
hey, they got the Clippers coming up. I'm sure there will be.
King, queen off suit. And Dave Kelsey is going to take it down there. You know, I haven't seen Dave or Gus around that much outside of times besides Live at the Bike. You know, you wonder if they've been going other places as well.
Well, Kelsey told me he's been playing a lot online, trying to win his seat to the World Series and other big events. He was actually in an event yesterday where he was a little disappointed because he got it down to six people. They were awarding 4 seats, and he got knocked out 6th.
Did you play any over the weekend online?
I did not. I took the weekend off.
Button's going to move over here to Jerry in seat 6.
I had kind of a tumultuous end of April. A couple of big hands on Thursday night, and I decided to take 3 days off of poker. A whole 3 days, well.
Well, I wasn't doing much either. You know, Sunday's usually my tournament night, but that's really when I woke up and felt horrible in
Oh, right, yeah.
the morning. Limp here by Gus. Limp by seat 5, Jamie. And I'm going to throw something out at somebody that has nothing to do with poker. I'm not going to explain it, but for those of you who understand it, so be it. Jerry's going to raise it up here to 40 on the button with king, queen off suit.
I like that raise. I got to tell you, on the button with a hand like that, all those limpers, see if you can pick up all that dead money. If somebody calls you, hey, you got a good hand to sit on. You might get a hand like ace 10 or ace jack out of there. You never know.
And Jerry's going to take it down.
I don't mind that play at all. Okay, go ahead. Throw
If
away.
anybody is familiar with the book The Game and the concept of Sergeant, my buddy and I went to Cat and Fiddle on Saturday night, and we just happened to run into Mystery. So take that for what it's worth, people that understand it out there. That probably sounds like code to you,
Well,
right?
there you go.
Yeah, you know, so what the hell are you talking about?
Does this have anything to do with your mysterious illness that came up Sunday night?
No, it doesn't.
No.
That was just...
Okay.
Hey, here we go with the first chip count of the night here.
$6,000 on the table. George has got the whole table covered now at $1,300. Kelsey's got about $1,100. And Boston's got $1,000 now, so we've got some money on this table. And let's see how they're doing.
George is up $860.
Yeah, Kelsey up $575. Boston up $450. Aaron and Gus are our big losers so far. And we'll keep track of that all night long. So you're not going to, there's no fill-in for people wondering at home what the heck you're talking about? That's it.
Nope. 6-way action here, limped around. Ace, queen, 7. Wow, we got ace 4. We got ace 7 here for Aaron. He's going to come out and bet. He's got top and bottom. He's going to bet 30.
Service.
Now, I don't know if Gus is really going to get involved here. Seems like too good a player. Obviously, this is not the flop you want ace 4.
And you can see the way Aaron is playing. I mean, Aaron pretty much is calling when he has a piece of it. or a draw. And here's the first time he's really shown some aggressive play, betting right into the field.
I'd be shocked if Gus continues on here with ace-4. He's still in the hand.
I mean, Ronnie's actually already taken up the board. I think he assumed that he was out of the hand.
Wow, he's going to call.
I'm surprised. I really am.
Man, I guess you got to hope that he doesn't hit his kicker or an ace.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost drawing dead.
Oh, look at that. The turn is a queen, and Aaron gets counterfeited.
Yeah, and that's a killer card now, and they're both going to chop it up.
Yeah, but his kicker still plays, though, actually. But actually, it's the same kicker.
Yeah, it's the same kicker.
Right.
They both have aces and queens and a 7 kicker.
Rivers a 3 here. Wow. Unbelievable. Check down. Aces and queens with the 7 kicker. I'm really shocked that Gus made that call there.
And he needed a queen to chop that pot up, or running 4s.
You guys were going to check the turn.
He was obviously in really bad shape there.
Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions.
Now, I'm going to take for granted, I think, if you go to live@thebike.com, you can check out my new blog. I think it's been updated. Evelyn's ignoring me, so I don't know if she's actually updated or not. She has. There you go. Check that out. Let me know what you think. Try to update my blog once a week or thereabouts.
Button has moved over here to seat 8.
They should bring me a towel with that watermelon. A bit of a towel.
Jerry, the new, more aggressive Jerry over there in seat 6. Wow. Bringing in some hands with king, queen offsuit from late position.
Yeah, well, on the button, hey, why not, right?
Why not?
You know, it's really interesting having Jay Siegel, our Live at the Bike resident potato, on the show last night while you were gone. He was so excited that he had won the tournament, and we were really excited for him. And it was so surprising, too, because we were talking how his style just doesn't really lend to tournament play, but he said that in a tournament, he kind of plays fearless because he's not worried about losing the money. And I said, well, man, if you could take that into your cash game, you can imagine how well your cash game would go.
Aaron's going to raise here to 35 with Jack 10 offsuit on the button. George is going to call with 7-4 clubs, and we are heads up here. Now, I don't know if George really should make this call out of position because I don't think Aaron has enough money. Wow, nice flop for Jack 10 here, top 2. 9-10 Jack.
Now, it's one of those flops. It's a nice flop, but it's not a great flop. I mean, you got to realize there are a lot of draws out there. Now, in this case, obviously, George has got absolutely nothing.
Aaron bets 100.
I mean, if you take any heat on this kind of board, man, I mean, open-ended straight draws, flush draws.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, with the stack sizes like this, if a guy check raises me all in, I call with Jack 10 because
of course.
So easy you might do it with, say, the queen with the queen of spades or something like that.
Of course, but you certainly don't want to slow play Jack 10 there, do you?
No.
I mean, hey, if a queen comes off, a king comes off, an 8 comes off, or a 7 comes off, or a spade comes off, you have no idea where you're at. And I know some really, really good no-limit players that will call a bet from a guy. Just call it with almost nothing. And they figure, and you know, maybe they'll call it a draw, but a small draw. But they figure, hey, if I catch a 7, an 8, a king, or a queen, or a spade, I can represent.
Yeah.
The turn was a 9 by the 9 of hearts.
Button moves over here to seat 9. Again, we're playing 300 and 500 no-limit hold'em, 5-5 blind. You know, one of the other things I was saying on Friday, I was asking so many of the viewers is, have we ever seen a guy like Orlando play on the show? I mean, I think he was by far the best, and he was the most aggressive lad. I mean,
Did you think he was good?
We've got yeah, I did.
Really, you
yeah,
did? Okay,
yeah,
I wasn't
absolutely.
sure. Because I was watching his play.
Bob
Now,
has
he's
raised here with
been
ace
here
jack.
for a week, and he's really had a phenomenal week. But you wonder if his style of play can he really beat cash games over the long haul?
Well, you know, the
like
funny
that?
thing is that Bob has taken it down here with the raise. With that table, it was working. Now, we haven't seen anybody really play back at him, but I got to tell you, he didn't make any mistakes post-flop. I mean, he got away from big hands post-flop. He didn't overvalue hands like you see like a corporation might sometimes
Right,
do.
right.
You know, he's not going to call... You know, he's not going to call somebody's all in. I don't think he's going to call somebody's all in for $7,000 on a board of 9-3-3 when he has aces, like I think Mike still would.
Right, right.
You see what I mean?
No, definitely. I understand what you're saying
there's
there.
a big difference.
He's looking to play small pots. He's looking to be the aggressor. And if anybody ever punches back, he just kind of gives it away. He goes, okay, I'll give you this one. I'll get the next 5. You win this one, no
I
problem.
think he played really well post-flop.
Okay.
I just think that he was more aggressive than anyone we've ever had at the table.
Well, it's funny, you know, I mean, at a table like that with no Jason Kachutani and no Mo on a Friday night and no Corporation Mike and no George Georgian and no Hav and none of those players that would fight back, would punch back at him, you wonder how he does. I mean, obviously against Dr. Beebe and Kirk.
Limped around here, and we're going to see a raise by seat number 2. He's going to make it 50 to go, so it's 45 more here. And Kelsey, he's got ace-queen, so he's going to try to pick up some of the dead money in here. And,
now, Jaime's a pretty solid player. I'm surprised he's calling.
King-queen. King-queen offsuit there. Mega trouble hands. Now, Boston's got an 8-9 of spades. I got to tell you, with these chip stacks, I call here. Especially against David Kelson, you got to call him.
I definitely. What was the raise?
Call. Wow, he folded 45.
45. I got to tell you, with 2 players in there, I definitely call.
Yeah.
Especially with Jaime, you sit there and go, you know what he called?
Yeah.
You know, you're not looking for an 8 or a 9, obviously. You're looking to hit a monster.
Yeah, I'm surprised Boston folded there. And we're
and
heads up
Sai
here.
laid down 8-6 of clubs in last position. Now, he's not that deep, though.
Well, Jack 7-4 here. Now, neither player has a pair.
And if David continues betting here, he'll probably take it down.
David checks. And Jaime checks right behind him. Turns a 10.
Well, 8-9 would have gotten there. Straight would have gotten there.
You got to figure if I was Boston, I probably would take the card on the flop, and then all of a sudden now you hit your gut shot on the turn, right?
Of course you're going to take the card. Why not?
And now Kelsey's going to bet. Now, I wouldn't say that Kelsey might bet into 2 other people now on the turn, but you're going to win with 8-9. And let's see what Jaime's going to do. He's going to call. He's got king queen. He's got overs and an open-ended straight draw. Neither player has a pair now, and the river's the ace.
Oh, wow.
So Kelsey hits the ace, but Jaime's got the nuts. And this pot now is about $300.
Now, it would have been really interesting if Boston was in there with the 8-9, huh?
And now Kelsey's going to bet 120, about a third of a pot. And obviously Jaime has the stone cold nuts right here. There's no 3 flush out there.
Now, you're wondering, what did Jaime check the flop with? What did he call your raise with? Check the flop, call your turn bet with, and now he's obviously going to raise this up. And you really wonder here, and he's going to move all in pretty much. Yeah, he is. And I like this raise.
Yeah,
he's not dicking around with a small little mini raise. He's putting all the money in there. Call me if you want. If you don't want it, throw it away.
So it's going to be another, say 220 more or so. 220 more.
Now, I got to tell you, you might not put him on king, queen. Maybe you do. You might put him on a set, though, here.
220 more. So the pot right now, boy, is about $750, or about $800, 220 to call. I mean, Kelsey's getting almost 4 to 1. I
mean, is there any way Jaime could be bluffing here? I mean, is there any way ace queen can be good here? Really?
Well, unless he chose to make a move here on clubs. But, you know, it's funny, reverse psychology, you look at it and you're like, well, that ace probably did actually hit him at the end. Can I really bluff him off of a hand now that he's getting 4 to 1 at the end? Because most people would automatically call.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't buy it. I mean, you got to look at it and go, if the guy was bluffing, he might have bluffed on the turn when the pot was still small enough to actually bluff it. I mean, I put this guy on minimum of 2 pair. He might have a set. You know, obviously, and king queen is obviously a consideration as well. You just got to realize at this point here, there's no way ace queen can be good. I don't think. I mean, if the guy has an ace queen or an ace king, I mean, think about it. You can't even beat ace jack or ace 10. You know, I don't think Jaime's making this move with ace 9. So I don't think he calls your turn bet with ace 9.
Yeah, it's about an $800 pot, 220 for Kelsey to call here. There isn't a whole lot he can beat except maybe busted clubs.
You know, there's sometimes where, I mean, even though the overwhelming odds say you should call, those are the times you got to realize, you know what, there's no way I can be good here.
Look at that. Kelsey's got the page open to our little advertisement in Bluff that has your and my picture in it.
Really?
Yeah. You haven't seen that on Bluff?
No, I haven't seen it.
We have a Bluff magazine in here. And Kelsey lays it down.
Nice laydown by Kelsey there.
Somebody bring a Bluff magazine in here.
Man, I miss everything when I'm done, huh?
It's the newer one.
I feel like I missed one day. I feel like I missed 2 weeks.
Kind of funny, though. I mean, it goes check, check, check on the flop of 8-9 spades, and then the turn comes. Probably Kelsey doesn't bet at that point. I think he just gives up on it. Jaime may bet with king queen.
Right.
Or if it gets checked around again, then there. Take a look. Yeah, there you go. What page is that on? I like looking at myself, Dave. You know. Page 43. 43 in the newest bluff. Here we go.
Look at Mo. Mo's almost glowing.
Yeah.
He almost looks ghostly.
Evaluate then. One stop and figure out. Don't worry, we will be.
Again, 3 to 500, no limit here. 5-5 blinds.
Wait a second. Did they actually put? That's Mo's cell phone number.
Yeah, it is. They put that like last week in Card Player.
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah.
They put his real phone number in there?
Lived around here, four-way action.
That's great.
Queen 8-4 here. Aaron's got a flush draw. Jaime's got Queen Jack.
That's classic.
And Jaime's going to bet. He's going to bet 30. And Aaron is going to quickly call here with the flush draw. And we're heads up here. Turns to 6, and the flush gets there, and Jaime is drawing dead. Well, Jaime's going to throw a little bit of a bet in here. He's going to bet 50, and let's see what Aaron's going to do. He's going to raise. No, he just calls again. Look at this. I mean, he's got a low flush. And the river's a 4th heart.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that is unbelievable.
And can he even bet the river? Is he going to bet with the den high flush? Well, he is.
And he's going to get no money from Jaime here, right?
No. Wow, I mean, is your hand good enough to slow play with a 10 high flush made on the turn?
I mean, I guess if you think the 9 of hearts is going to come, and you're hoping the other guy has an ace.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have a straight flush then.
What do you mean?
If the 9 of hearts came. There's no jack of hearts out there. 7-10 doesn't make a straight flush with the 9 of hearts on the river.
What are you talking about?
He needs a jack of hearts.
6, 8, 9, 10, 7.
Oh.
He wouldn't have a queen high straight flush. I guess that's what you're talking about, right?
That's what I must have been thinking.
Yeah. I mean, I figured the 10 high straight flush, you might be happy with that one.
That might be
Yeah,
good.
that'd be good enough, right?
2 king queens, seat 7 and seat 8. Boston is going to raise it up here to 20 with king queen. I assume Aaron is going to at least call. He does.
Of course he is. Now, I know you and I would routinely throw away king queen there from an early position raiser. I'm not going to call an early position raiser with king queen offsuit.
And what is David Kelsey going to do? I got to tell you, I would throw ace 10 away in a heartbeat here too.
Well, I'm certainly not going to call. Now he's making a move. Maybe he thinks that Boston's raise is a little weak. You get 2 callers in between. Maybe he's trying to pick up dead money.
Well, I got to tell you, the thing about Boston's raises though is he does kind of go by our mantra of he keeps his pre-flop raise amounts pretty consistent. I mean,
he does.
I mean, he could easily be raising with queens, kings, or aces here to 20 under the gun. I don't know why you would choose him to make a move on with ace 10.
Well, in this case here, just to play devil's advocate, I'm just going to throw. I mean, you get seat 8, you got Aaron here, who's also called 20. You got
Right.
George, who's played 20. They're showing some weakness by just calling the $20 raise. So now, if you don't get called by Boston, you figure, hey, I might be in the clear here. If I do get called, hey, I have a decent hand, plus I have position on everybody. You never know. And I think Boston's going to lay this down. I imagine Aaron's going to lay this down. And George probably is too. This play is probably going to work.
Well, Boston easily lays it down.
Of course. And George's going to lay this down. It's a nice play. I mean, it works there by David. And I guess his thinking was, well, I know Aaron and George have nothing. If I can just get by that Boston guy, maybe I can win myself an easy $60.
Obviously, we know that Kelsey probably would have easily mucked to a re-raise.
Oh, of course.
Boston.
It's awfully hard to re-raise there, though, unless you've got aces or kings.
Yeah.
Even queens, you're stuck almost just calling.
Dietetic.
Yeah.
Button moves over here to seat 4.
Very healthy.
Email here from Sean Roberts. He says, hey, Tuckman, how is reading your blog going to help my game when it's just a bad beat post? They have a forum for that on 2+2.
And the whole point, I think, Sean, you missed the point of the post. The whole point of it is not that it's a bad beat. The whole point of it is what the smart and wealthy gentleman told me afterwards.
But look at this. We got a raise here by seat 1 with 5-6 offsuit. He makes it 40. Bob calls with 9s, and Jaime's got kings in the small blind. I'm sure he's going to re-raise here.
Yeah, clear raise here. Especially George's raise. You can't give credit to George there at all.
Probably going to make it something like 200, I would imagine. Let's see how much more he's going to make it. It's $40 raise. Looks like
$40 raise, at least 100 more.
He's going to make it 125 more. 5-6 is quickly out of there.
Okay, same
and
difference.
That's pretty easy fold now for Bob, too, I would imagine. Jaime's not that deep. You're not that deep. You can't make this call.
And he throws it away.
Yep. And there it is. Jaime takes it down. Now, Jay Siegel, he chopped up the trophy with 7 other guys. I mean,
it
chopped
got
it
down
up
to
to 7 guys.
Yeah, they actually kept the entire trophy. They didn't cut it into pieces.
Right.
But what they did, they got down to 7 people, made a chop. I guess he was a chip leader, and he took the trophy home.
Wow.
And he was so excited. So he said it was his first trophy.
Live straddle here by seat number 1.
His first trophy since he was a little boy.
So it's going to be $10 to call here.
Kelsey limped in with queens.
Yep,
he did.
He's limped in the straddle spot with
Well, he just knows Gus so well, doesn't he?
Gus is going to raise with 9-10 off suit.
Unbelievable. And George is going to at least call this with 9-10 suited.
Which I assume means that David is going to pull the limp re-raise here.
Of course. Guaranteed. Now, if he only knew what his opponents had, he might actually just call.
So there's 70 in dead money here. It's another 25 for him to call. Let's see how much he makes it more.
He'll probably. I would assume he'd probably make it an additional $75 to $100 on top of the raise.
Well, these guys are both deep. You might actually want to make it more than that. Yeah, he's going to make it, looks like 100 more. I mean, you don't want to make it something like 50 more when you guys are both 20 times deep that raise amount. Because you're going to get maybe somebody to get in there.
No,
with
hey,
9-10.
if you make it 50 times more, I mean, if you only make it $50 more, 9-10 suited, why not call?
Right.
And the only problem is, though, is that George is out of position. He's got to act first here, and once Gus folds, wow,
Gus is going to call with 9-10. Wow. And that might bring George in from behind.
Why not?
We got 2 people with the same hand.
I got to tell you, and David is in great shape here.
It's a $400 pot here. And here we go to the flop. Kelsey's got queens.
Oh, wow, and they both get open-ended straight draws.
Both players are open-ended with a rainbow board.
Yeah, now George is actually free-rolling on Gus.
And Kelsey's going to come out, and he's going to bet 200. It's a $600 pot, 200 to call.
And I got to tell you, Gus might move here. He might move in. He's only got about 400 left. And I got to tell you, I was real surprised Gus actually called the 100. He's not that deep.
No, not at all.
Now, George, once Gus calls, George can call because he is deep.
How about this? When Gus moves in, I think George is going to call behind him, right? And then what does Kelsey do with queens?
Man,
here
I got
in
to
this
tell
spot?
you, if you get a raise and then a call.
You put 2 specific people on 9-10. And I think, he's going to push. And this is what's going to happen here, folks. So now, I think George is going to call. What is Kelsey going to do?
You know, it really depends what does George do here. Is he going to re-raise the pot? Or is he just going to call?
I think he's just going to call. Let's see here.
Well, if he just calls, I think...
So he's made it 360 here. 360 total, so it's 360 for George to call. The pot is $1,000, 360 for him to call.
I mean, these guys only have 6 outs to their straight. Obviously, they don't know that. But he moved all in.
Oh, he's going to move all in behind.
Wow. And George is actually free-rolling on Gus here. He can catch backdoor spades. Gus can only chop this pot.
I don't know. How can you call here if you're Kelsey? I mean, a bet, a raise, and a check raise all in?
Well, let me ask you this. Is there any way Gus could have specifically 9-10 and George could have ace-jack?
I got to tell you, if that's the case, all right, I live to win another hand here, Dave. I'm not committing this money.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
No way. No way.
I'm with you on that. Wow, I got to tell you, I cannot believe that.
I mean, now he makes the call. It's a $1,300 pot. And he's moved all in for, it looks like another, what, 1,000? And Kelsey's made the call. This is going to be like a $3,000 pot.
Yeah, this is literally $3,000 pot.
This is $1,000 on the side from each player.
Now, these players need a 7 or a queen to make their straight or running spades.
$1,000 1,000 on the side here from Dave and from George. And Gus, we got 1,000 in the main and 1,000 on the side.
And Kelsey's actually in great shape.
2,000 on the side. 2,000 on the side. The turn's a 6. Kelsey needs to dodge the straight cards. And the river's a 4. And Kelsey is going to take down a $3,000 pot with queens.
Yeah, he takes it all. He takes it all. And I got to tell you, I like the way George played that hand. I think he put Kelsey on a big hand. Didn't think that Kelsey could overcall the move all in. You didn't think he could either. And, Kelsey made a real tough call there. Takes down about a $2,800 pot.
Well, the other thing that might be going through somebody's mind, and always goes through my mind, too, you got a player like George. We've seen George on the show a couple times. I wouldn't call him a super advanced player. Would he play it that way with the set because it's a rainbow board? I mean, I always give credit to somebody who plays it hard like that with the set, but you always wonder, would he really play a set that way?
He might just smooth call and trap you.
Yeah, exactly. Or would he check raise the minimum?
Well,
something like that.
The thing was, he clearly wanted Kelsey out.
Right.
Kelsey was representing a big overpair, right? Kelsey was representing aces or kings or queens. And George clearly wanted him out. And I think that's what Kelsey read. He goes, this guy wants me out. Why does he want me out?
I didn't go all in fast enough.
Wow. Again, that is a grand on the side from both players. So 2,000 in the side pot, 1,000 in the mate. Unbelievable.
Yeah, literally about a $3,000 pot. Kelsey takes it all. Man, that's a huge pot on this game.
There was something about what you did. I know, but
Think about how much you were in. What were you in?
not much. Yeah, I'll tell you what I called it.
Nice hand, man. Nice one.
Best hand held up.
Love to see that.
And these guys were in terrible shape, obviously. You'd much rather your opponent have aces there.
Nice hand.
If they even caught the queen for the straight, Kelsey had redraws to a full house.
Is this me too?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Ace, king, and
Really
diamonds
was.
here for seat 4.
Please still vote for me.
And Bob is going to make it 75 to go. You take big doses of coughs here. Sometimes you end up going on what's called a DXM trip. You ever heard of that before?
I never have. Not with coughs. Not with coughs.
Yeah.
I'd call, but I have 9.
I
So
can
what was
hear
the
Isaac
effect on you?
laughing in the background.
So what was the effect on you?
You know what? I just fell asleep.
Did you?
Some people are making fun of my straight call from a couple of hands ago. Bob raised here with ace, king, and diamonds, and he took it down.
In 3-5?
Oh, yeah.
That's actually in Robitussin, though. I don't think NyQuil has that stuff in it. I might be mistaken. I think maybe all coffee.
I tell you, NyQuil's like my miracle drug. If there's any one drug I like, it's NyQuil. In the sense that if I ever get a cold, I just take about a half a bottle of that, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But it makes you go to sleep.
Just knocks your ass out, right?
Well, it's got the same drug that, like, say, any over-the-counter sleeping pill. Yeah. It's just that
Although it's-
diphenamine
right.
sleeping aid.
No, I know, but
Although it's funny, though, NyQuil used to have a lot more effect when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now I kind of drink it, and it tastes good.
You like the licorice flavor?
Yeah.
Pocket 10s here for seat 8, Aaron. I gotta tell you, that's a big call there for David Kelsey. I don't really have the energy to run over about how, boy, is it a call? Is it a bad call? Is it a good call? But
Who knows? I mean, it's a weird call. I mean, he knows Gus real well, and I think that was part of it with Gus. And I guess he just figured, you know what? If Gus has got a big hand, so be it. It looks like George wants me out of this hand, though. Why does he want me out?
Well, Gus can also make that play with ace-jack suited, too, I would think.
Oh, definitely.
Aaron has raised it here to 60 with pocket 10s.
I'm steaming. You definitely have.
And George is going to call here with ace-10.
Yeah, and George even said, he goes, I'm steaming, you have the best hand, don't worry.
Now, Boston's got 9-10 over there on the button. And you got a guy who is steaming in there, and you're in position on him. He makes the call.
Yeah, I like this, especially against a predictable player like Aaron in seat number 8.
And look at this. All the 10s are dead.
Yeah,
No
Aaron's-
set here for Aaron.
He's probably not going to hit a set. You're
No.
right.
Here we go to the flop.
And look, there's the 10.
Not quite, but there's the ace, though. Bad beat there for Aaron. Ace, 6-7 with a couple of hearts.
Now, I got to tell you, if you're George, I move all in. Make it look like a steam.
And he's going to bet
One of my-
75.
One of my favorite plays after I lose a big pot, overbet the next pot, make it look like a steam.
Well, the funny thing, too, about the characteristic of this hand is that it gets checked to you. It looks like Aaron's going to get away from him. But specifically here, You look at it, you get over bet. Now, what is a hand that might call you that you have beat? Maybe, say, if Boston had limped in with ace rag suited, and he thinks you're stealing and it calls?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Boston would do that, but...
You never know. I mean, it's amazing how much it works, though. I've seen it numerous times.
Or like you said, if you overbet here, you might get a call from Aaron with pocket tens, right?
Yeah. Happens all the time. I mean, the other day, actually, I lost a big pot. Like, the next hand, actually 2 hands later, I picked up pocket kings. 4 guys limp in. I'm in a 3-5 game, and I move all in for $500. And sure enough, a guy called me with, like, ace-10.
So it's a $75 bet here by George.
Aaron's eyeing him down. He's giving him the old dull look.
Do you sound louder than me tonight, or is it just me?
I might just be louder than you. Could be me. I don't know.
Looks like Aaron's going to get away from that.
He throws it away.
Again, tomorrow night, $25.50, no limit hold'em, $3,000 buy-in. It's going to be a lot of fun. I guess sans Barry Woods.
Yeah, no Barry. No Barry, no Woods.
I don't quite understand it, but to each his own. He wants to change the scenery.
We'll miss him for a day or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish him all the luck. I hope he kicks ass wherever he plays. I'm sure he'll be back.
Again, I mean, like I said, he can do whatever he wants, you know. If he wants to try out the other casino, you know, maybe that's a good idea. But for him to go over there thinking, oh, I got to stop playing at the bike because I play on live at the bike too much, I mean, I've always been honest with Barry. I'll be honest with you there. That's just not the correct line of thinking.
Not. If it's not I'm playing on live at the bike too much, it's I'm paying off Dr. Beebe too much.
Right.
And I'm paying off Hollywood Russ too much.
Right.
You know, I'm giving action to players I shouldn't be giving action to. How about I'm paying Bart off too much.
Limped around here 5 ways, Dave. 7-4 deuce with a couple of spades. Well, it's missed everybody. And seat number 3 here, Gus is going to come out and bet 20 here. Jaime is going to call.
Wow, it's a strange call.
It's a strange bet, and it's a strange call. I mean, Jaime's got backdoor spades. Inside overcalls with bottom pair.
Now, the only thing you wonder there with Jaime is, you think maybe since he has the ace of spades in his hand, he can represent spades.
Well, here we go. Turns a 5. It doesn't improve anybody's hand. This might get checked around here.
You know, it's interesting now. Jaime and Gus that both have they have a double gutter here. A 6 or a 3 will give them a straight. And there it is.
Yeah, the river's a 6.
And they both have 8 high straights.
Well, size hand is absolute garbage.
What do you mean? You don't like that hand?
And Gus is going to bet now. Is there any value to raising here with ace 8? Obviously, you can't beat 8-9. He's going to bet 75. And I would tell you, I see all the time in these games, I call in the middle here with ace 8, and you get some guy to overcall with 2 pair from the blind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, is there any way you'd put your opponent on 8-9?
Well, he's going to raise. Well, the other line of thinking, though, too, is can you raise and represent and get somebody off of an 8? We always talk about, do you really want to put a lot of money in and chop the pot up, right?
Is there any way, though, I mean, I'm just trying to think here. Now, Gus bet the flop. I mean, I guess he could have 8-9 of spades.
8-9 of spades.
But is there any way you can raise it and get called by a 3? I don't know. I mean, I'm just wondering that.
I wonder, though, if can Jaime represent, move in on the river, and get Gus off with a hand? Well, they're going to chop it up.
Yeah. Chop, chop.
It's really interesting to look, and both players have ace-8 there on the flop.
Yeah, you can kind of wonder. You go, wow. I bet. I know I bet with nothing. You called me with nothing? Kind of strange.
Yeah, so I got to tell you, I didn't get a chance to... I talked to you right when you came back from the Lakers game on Friday.
Right.
So you saw the Queen 7 hand.
Yes.
And I was like, Ronnie, did he have the card? Do you think he misread his hand? I mean, you got to think he misread his hand, right? This is the hand on Friday with Dr. Beebe.
We've seen so much of Dr. Beebe, and there was a point where, maybe a year ago, 10 months ago, where he was playing it like that, where, somebody would raise, he'd have king, queen,
right. The
flop would come out queen high, like queen 9 deuce. The other guy would bet to you, and Dr. B would just throw it away.
Right.
And you'd be like, man, why did he call with king-queen then? I'd like to think that Dr. Beebe misread his hand, but I know better. I know he didn't misread his hand. I know he just didn't like his hand.
Live straddle here by seat 3.
He just routinely plays. I mean, he plays tight weak. And we actually know that he almost plays it too loose pre-flop and then tight weak after the flop, which is, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's probably the worst style of poker there is out there. And I love Dr. Beebe.
Passive, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's loose and then tight weak. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
5-way action, straddled pot, limped around, so it's a $50 pot. Jack 10-4. Well, Bob here has got top 2. Look at Aaron's hand. Top pair with a flush draw.
Yeah, now, Aaron's hand normally is a lot stronger, but in this case, all it is pretty much is a flush draw.
Yeah, because you can't beat any other jack. Now, but now the issue, though, is that now Aaron's going to raise here. I think that your hand is good enough to drive forward with the raise, and you might get a guy like Bob to maybe throw away king jack or ace jack.
I agree.
Now, in this case, though, Bob's got top 2, and he's going to come back over the top.
Now, I pointed out last night, oftentimes if I have it, Aaron's going to move all in here.
And a quick call, and we've got about a, I want to say $600 or $700 pot here going.
And Bob's a 2-1 favorite.
Here we go to the turn. Turn's a jack.
And Aaron's drawing dead.
That's it. River's a 4. Jack's full.
Jack 10's going to take it. Now, it's interesting. Now, if we can keep that flop up there for just 1 second. Oftentimes, if I have a pair with a flush draw and I get any heat, I've got to realize that my opponent probably has top pair also. So I would actually rather have, in a flop like this, I would actually rather have ace 4 of spades.
Right.
And it be, say, jack of spades, 10 of spades, 4 of diamonds. Because that way I know my 4 is live. I know my other card is live, and I don't mind if my opponent has a jack.
Well, sometimes it can always look so pretty on the flop when you've got top pair with a flush draw. But you've got to understand, though, if you've got an early position bettor who's pretty solid and tight, who would only bet a minimum of top pair good kicker, might be betting a set or 2 pair, your hand might not even be worth raising because you don't necessarily want to get all the money in with that hand.
It's just a flush draw.
Like you said, it's actually more valuable if you've got a lower pair and a flush draw where you know you can hit trips and your kicker's good for 2 pair. Right?
Exactly. Like in that case there, if you have ace 4 of spades,
right,
and the board comes out jack 10-4.
With 2 spades, jack and 10 of spades.
Right.
Yeah.
In that case, if your opponent only has a jack, and let's say king jack,
right,
well, you have 14 outs. You can catch 2 4s, 3 aces, or a spade. While if you share that jack, you only have 12 outs.
Yeah.
Because you have to pair your kicker.
No, I definitely think that is a hand that is vastly overplayed. Top pair with a nut flush draw.
Of course, especially when your kicker is so bad like that.
Yeah. And the greatest example is, say you live in a late position with, say, ace 3 of clubs, and the flop comes ace 6-8 with 2 clubs.
Yeah, people think that's a great hand, and you've got to realize if you take any heat, your opponent also has an ace. So in that case, you only have 12 outs. You don't have an ace is no good.
Now Jerry raised with pocket 8s, and Kelsey called in the small blind with king queen suited. Jerry's got the best hand here. There's ace on board, but he's got second pair to the board. It's actually ace 6-6, and he's going to bet.
And Jerry's going to fire. I like the bet here. Heads up.
Going to bet 75.
He's using his image, and I don't think Kelsey's going to call. No, he's not.
Yeah. There it is. Nice hand there for Jerry.
What is Kelsey doing? Color that man up.
Yeah, this is what pisses me off about this game. I'm going to tell you, when I sit down in the 3 to 5 game and I'm waiting for the 5-10, I play with usually 400 in purples and 100 in yellow.
Yeah, you don't need that many. You know, it's funny. I used to talk to Gore about this, and he said one of his tells, actually. He goes, when I sit down at a table and I'm trying to figure out what players are experienced no-limit players, he said one of my first things I like to look at, and he goes, obviously as they play, I'll judge them more. He goes, if a player has a lot of yellow chips and not many big chips like white chips or purple chips, he goes, I'll often assume they are not as experienced because they're scared to have those bigger chips.
Interesting.
That was Gore's assessment of it, and the more I play, I kind of do agree a little bit.
Got a raise here by Jerry. He's going to bring it in an early position with king, queen off suit.
And it doesn't necessarily mean the player is better or worse. It just means their experience level or their comfort level in that game, I say.
Now, seat number 1 here is called with ace 7 off suit. Boy, talk about, obviously we see Jerry's opening his game up a little bit, but usually Jerry's really tight to call in under the gun raise with ace 7 off suit.
Well, you wonder if George is now. The thing with George is, does he have any idea where he's at here?
No, of course
not.
Wow,
and Jerry's going to fire right into it.
Well, he's got second pair here. He's going to bet. Bet 75. I mean, this is inherently exactly why you don't call raises with ace rag. I mean, and George might look like a genius if he continues on, but how on earth do you know where you're at?
You can't judge a play by its results. We know that.
Well, he's going to move in here. He's going to move in, and Jerry calls just like that. He doesn't believe him.
He doesn't even think about it.
Jerry needs help here.
Well,
he could catch a spade, a king, or a queen. Oh, it's not there. Wow, ace-7's going to take it down. Unbelievable. I mean, there is just almost nothing George can beat out there.
And you wonder here, everybody at the table is giving Jerry an awful lot of respect. And you kind of wonder there that he bet into that board and called an all-in bet and couldn't beat ace-7?
Especially when the third spade comes out on the turn there, right?
Right.
Or a king or a queen. Not to mention a king or a queen. Right. Right. 9, 10, 11, 12.
Button moves over here to seat 3.
Get an email here from Sean Roberts. Dave, I know. I was just jerking your chain. Keep up the good work. Hey, what is the best way to plan the show? Do I just show up a couple of hours early and ask? Well, that's pretty much the best way. Now, if you want to play on Wednesdays or Fridays show, the best thing you could probably do is call up Mo and reserve your seat, because those games do fill up quick. And if you want to play on Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, in that case, you want to come early. And I would say even 3 or 4 hours early. Yeah, and you can find out Mo's number in the newest Bluff magazine, page 43, right?
No, I wasn't going to call.
Raised here by Dave Kelsey. He's got pocket 9.
I'm sure Mo will appreciate this. How funny would that be? How funny would it be if, like, we had 100 of our viewers to go get the Bluff magazine and all call Mo? That would be hysterical. That would be a great prank. Everybody do it.
I just didn't do it fast.
No, don't do it.
Oh, that would be great. Come on.
Queen 5 deuce here on the flop. Jaime call with ace-6 of spades. Dave's going to bet here and probably take it down. Bet 70. Jaime doesn't have much here.
He's going to lay it down.
Again, sometimes people fall so in love with those ace rag suited cards in the blind, but he's called David Kelsey's raise heads up with ace-6. Tough hand to play out of position.
Okay, in good judgment, I will not give Mo's phone number over the airwaves. But if you are so inclined to put a little effort into it, go to Bluff Magazine, the latest one with Eric Lindgren on the cover. Go to page 43, which is our ad, okay? Tell your friends about our show. And call Mo and tell him you want to reserve a seat in Friday's game.
Why? Why do you want to do that and screw up the board?
It'll just be hysterical. Mo will come to us on Thursday and go, I got 63 people that want to play.
Yeah, but then we're not gonna have a game though.
Yeah. People will show up anyway.
No, please don't do that. I'm sorry to be a party pooper, but
see what happens when you get sick, man. I tell you.
Limp. Straddled pot. Four-way action.
Because you said I knew you were going to call.
Ace 3-5 here, rainbow.
Well, Aaron's got second pair and a gut shot.
Well, Boston's got top pair, ace 10. He's gonna bet. He's gonna bet 20.
Well, I basically half a guess.
Tell you, I feel like I'm in school and I'm getting scolded.
Aaron
Man.
calls.
Jeez.
Turns of 5, ace 10 still good.
Basically, my bet is going to trigger another 400, another 200.
Hey, Mo decided to put his phone number in a magazine. I would never do that.
Boston is gonna bet. Boy, nothing like to help the show out.
That's why you didn't really want to play. You didn't really want to play this.
Yeah, and Ronnie correctly pointed out I don't answer my phone anyway.
I know I have odds to just call this
True indeed.
but I had a feeling I was
Button's gonna move here to seat 5. So it looks like we got a guy who said that Johnny says that Liz Lou is gonna play heads up against some guy in limit
I thought
hold'em.
if you had like 10 or ace jack or something like that, I'd probably lay.
Oh, Sagstrom.
Yeah.
Eric Sagstrom, Swedish.
Oh, the Swedish
phenom.
guy, Eric 123, right?
Yeah.
I just read an article about him in.
Many consider him to be the best online player in the world. At the new Venetian Poker Room, they'll play heads up for a series of 3 $200,000 matches, limit hold'em.
Are they playing heads up like laptop to laptop, or are they going to actually play heads
No,
up?
I think it's a live game.
Okay.
I gotta tell you, man. I mean, talk about like flipping a coin for $600,000. I mean, heads up limit hold'em. You're going to play 3 matches. Okay, fine. But I mean, even if you were to have ace-6-9 here, a big edge as a heads up player, I would think you'd need to play like at least 50 matches for the variance to be evened out, where the guy with the advantage is going to win.
Well, depends on how big the blinds are, depending on how many chips they have. They might be able to, what is it, a series of 3 $200,000 heads-up events.
George made 2 pair here, but he checked it blind. Now he fills up on the river. He bet the flop. Jaime called him. George checked blind. He made 2 pair.
And Jaime's going to pay him off hoping to chop.
Yep. Again, kind of a reason why I don't understand why you would check blind from up front. Makes 2 pair. Jaime checks right behind him, and then he fills up. So anyways, you were saying depending on how big the blinds are.
I mean, obviously, the blinds are big. Obviously, it really is just a luck fest.
Right.
If the blinds are small enough, then, if you are a premier heads-up player, you'd think that you'd have some sort of an edge, even if it's only 5 or 6%.
Right.
Now, depending on what the blinds are, I mean, you're talking about a series of 3 $200,000 heads-up matches. Those could actually take, say, 8 hours each, 10 hours each, or even longer.
Button moves over here to seat number 7. That's Boston.
For the record, Ronnie's money's on Liz Lou. You, Bart?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know either player really. Their heads-up skills.
Really tough to put money on somebody without knowing.
Right.
60.
Got a $60 raise here by Gus.
Does he have 9s?
120.
I think he does. Yes,
he's
he
got
does.
9s. And Bob is going to mini re-raise him with ace-queen of diamonds. As I just look at this post while I start from the line, and I'm saying, Gus has played way too many hands here. He's lost like the last 5 times in live with the bike. Tend to agree there.
Yeah.
Stop the hurt.
Well, he made, that call of 10-9 offsuit when he only had about $500, $450, it made no sense.
Well, it's just a mini raise here, but I gotta imagine, though, the way that Bob is playing this, if Gus doesn't hit a set, he's probably going to check fold. I mean, if the flop came out deuce 3-6 here, how would you play 9s now that Bob has made the mini raise in position?
It's really tough. I mean, Bob could easily have jacks or queens or kings here. And I like calling by Gus. Now, he's inherently right away with the mini raise. Right away, he's getting 3-1 on his money.
Right.
So you can call for your set.
Oh, here we go to the flop.
But there it is.
All right, so how is he going to play?
It's really a tough spot here. Now, obviously, Gus is in good shape. But how does he know that?
I mean, I guess you could throw a little bet out there and fold to a raise. But it almost seems like it's obvious that Bob's played it here like he has.
The problem is, how can you put a mini raise in there and get away from it without pot committing yourself?
Now, Gus is going to bet. He bets 85, Dave, into a pot that's 250, 75 into a $250 pot.
I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, you look at this now. If Bob can read that as this guy is weak, I mean, if Bob moves all in here, is Gus going to throw it away?
I think that Gus is actually kind of frozen Bob here a little bit.
He has. And
I mean,
the only thing you wonder
if
is...
Bob moves in, the pot then would be... Boy, I want to say the pot then would be about 600, another 300 for Gus to call. Would he call?
Yeah, you really wonder there. I mean, I guess Gus, is that the same way Gus would play a set of 8s or a set of 4s? If it is, I guess it works. Really puts himself in a tough spot, though, because he only has about $400 left. Puts in kind of a weakish bet there, and if Bob smells it out and moves in, what do you do then? Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching No Limit Hold. The blinds are 5 and 5. Now, this is a restricted buy-in game. You can buy in anywhere from $300 to $500, but this game has way more money than that. This guy in seat number 2's got about $3,000. Guy in seat number 1's got close to $800. Boston in seat number 7 has over $1,000. And Jaime in seat number 5, he's only got about $700, but he's got ace-king of clubs. Looking to add to his stack.
There it is. And you can take out a look at an advertisement at the Lakers website that will be on the rest of the year.
Yeah, and Mo's phone number is not on that one. Don't worry.
35.
So Jaime is going to raise it up here to 35.
But I'm going to call you one time. Hopefully I'll get some help on the phone.
And George is going to call, and he is dominated out of position with a red king jack. Well, there's the jack. He outflopped him.
Yeah.
Check, check. And the turn's a king.
Uh-oh.
Wow, and George checks it again. And now Jaime's going to bet. Now George has got top tier with the jack of hearts. And he's going to check raise to 150. I mean, Jaime basically has two of the non-ace, non-hearted aces
Let me ask you this. Now he slow played the jack.
And Jaime makes the call here.
Would you ever bet when the king comes hoping your opponent actually has ace-king? Bet right into your opponent hoping he raises you with ace-king so you can re-raise him?
And again, Jaime here has got 2 outs and the river's a 9. And it gets checked down. George checked it blind on the river. Are you kidding me?
I got to tell you, George always plays the game
That's
really
like
aggressive.
a
I'm really
$400
surprised.
pot right there.
Yeah. Now, it's funny. Now, George checked the flop. I think he was expecting to check raise the flop. And Jaime actually, he took the free card. Now, it wasn't a free card, obviously, because he caught his king, got some reverse implied odds there. Now, you wonder there, if George bets right into him, hoping he has ace-king or, say, king-queen, Jaime might raise him right there, thinking George is just trying to steal the pot, and then you can re-raise, pop it right back. Really put your opponent to the test with ace-king.
Button moves over here to seat 9.
Obviously easier for us. We can see the cards. They can't. But if you listen to our show, you know Bart and I are always advocates for putting money in the pot and not really check raising too much. Although I did say I was going to call you out on the show. I want to say it was 2 weeks ago on a Friday where I saw you actually flop a set against about 4 players and you check raised. And I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked.
Got a raise here on the button. Side pocket 5s. 3-way action here. Queen, Jack 5. Look at this. Bottom set. George has got top pair with King, Queen here.
Yeah, George is in trouble here.
Inside does not bet. The turn is a 4. And now Aaron's got 2 pair. And George is going to come out and bet. Aaron spikes 2 pair on the turn.
I got to tell you.
And now Side looks like he thinks he's a genius because he's played the hand in this manner.
He is a genius, isn't he? I mean, he's got to know the 4 is going to come on the turn, right?
Wow.
Now, the only thing is, though, is now when
he's thinking about slow playing it here, too.
Well,
I mean, I don't even know if he has enough chips.
Well, this is the only question now. He is on the button. I might just smooth call this to try to keep George in.
He's going to move in. I mean, he only has 200 left.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because he moves.
Oh, actually, he's got 300.
He moves in now, and George is actually going to
easily be able to get away from it.
And I was saying, now, if you just smooth
And George immediately calls. What? Just like that. I think he said he called.
He called. He's drawing dead. Aaron needs a jack and only a jack to win this pot.
Well, maybe George asked how much it was. I thought he said he called.
Oh, okay.
He is drawing dead.
I mean, I think it's an easy laydown, isn't it? I mean, you got a bet, a raise, and a re-raise all in.
Aaron has 2 outs to the jack. 2 more jacks. That's
My
it.
king-queen hits the muck so quickly. Not only do I know my hand's not good, I'm worried I probably am drawing dead.
There it is. And I got to tell you, you know that Sai is a big hand because we've seen him on the show. He's not necessarily capable of making this move on the turn with something like Ace King of Clubs. I've never seen him do that.
No, how about King 10 of Clubs? Not even like that.
Right. And Aaron calls, and the river's a 10, and Sai's going to take it down there with the set.
And he looks like a genius.
Yeah.
Although I got to tell you, I think he doubles up anyway. He just doubles up on George. Right.
He's going to double
make
through
difference.
George, right.
Because I think George is going to check raise him right on the flop. Yeah. Then you smooth call that bet. And then when George fires in the turn, well, then you move all in, and George is stuck in there. Pot is too big to get away from.
I agree with you. Thanks for the pictures, Chris in Wisconsin. Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com.
No doubt about it. In hindsight, it was good that I said definitely.
Button's going to move over here to seat number 1.
They're different looking, you know. Have you seen the photos on the internet? This house is the whole communities are up there. I can't wait to go down there.
That's George. Ace King of Clubs here again for Jaime in seat 5. Or Ace King offsuit.
Wow, we get a raise here from Bob. Look at this raise from Bob. Bob's raising under the gun with King 10 offsuit. No, I'm sorry, King 10 suited.
Yeah, early position raise there. And Jaime is going to re-raise. Everyone's playing Ace King like it's golden here tonight.
No, it ain't.
I couldn't even call the 40.
I feel like the new guy in prison right
I'm
now.
down, but it's
He's going to make it
Like the
100
new
more.
guy in prison right now. Yes.
Getting passed around.
And I don't know if King 10 and clubs here can continue on.
No, it can't.
Oh, yeah. I'll take care of you in prison here. Get on over here. You got a pretty mouth.
You know, it's funny, as I look at these Liz Lewell pictures in her bikini, my buddy was actually in Vegas. It was the first weekend of Vegas
Guys,
pool
just to let you
season
all know, I'm
this
just gonna
past
start
weekend.
Biggest pool season
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
Well, it's been too damn cold there, huh? Before this.
And apparently it was
No, I'm
really
gonna
hot
tilt
this
out
weekend.
and then rebuy.
Well, I'm going to be going actually to Vegas
I'm gonna
in
hardcore
4 days.
this out. I'm just gonna start going all
Are you a
in.
big pool guy?
I like the pool. I like the sun.
You've been to rehab before? Well, you're married and stuff. But, you know, you go and gawk a little bit. You can take my sunglasses with you, ones that reflect your eyes.
Nothing you can do. On the flop.
And Bob is out of there. Or the Palms, too. That's another great little
Palms, yeah,
spot.
Palms is great.
Yeah. Yeah, Hard Rock is rehab on Sundays.
I thought
Get with it,
does
right?
have a set. And the R5s I have.
Man, I tell you, Ray just lost all street cred there.
Yeah.
Jeez. Man,
Butt
tell ya.
moves over here to see 2.
hang your head in shame.
I gotta see.
I tell you, I'm actually meeting all my buddies there from school on Saturday, so it should be a lot of fun. And I think we're actually going to meet at the Wynn, which we're kind of psyched about.
cool.
I did. I told him I watched it.
You want to watch American Idol?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, American Idol, man.
I like that one.
Actually, I really want to see the De La Hoya fight on Saturday night.
Oh, okay, that's together.
Tuesday night, man.
Look at all the yellow chips. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, way too many yellow chips. Somebody color those up.
4-way action here.
Wow.
Sign of the devil.
The devil.
Sixes.
The devil's here.
I think I've watched. I think I've caught. Are you watching it at all?
Well, looks like King High is good here, Dave.
Oh, that's the.
Checked around, turns a full.
Well,
Aaron's got a full house
yeah.
now.
I like it this time.
I imagine Aaron's going to put some money in the pot. Why not? And he does.
They got a 40 kind of got you.
That's 20.
Oh, like you said, 40.
No, I went 20.
That guy should
Maybe you. What do you think?
I like it. I'll
him,
put
but
it
he should
for
be
you.
like the lead singer of a band.
He is. His band. Every
he's
time
gonna
they cut to the audience, they show what he's
It's funny when people ask you to compare players. Like you look at a guy like Aaron or you look at a guy like Kelsey and you start comparing players and how they play and everything. And sometimes there's not a specific thing you can put yourself on and go, well, this guy is this good because of this, or this guy is better because of that. Sometimes it's just an innate feel. And you go, well, you know what? This guy just has a feel for the game, however you want to say it.
Guys,
And there are some poker players out there that just their instincts take them above the rest of them. Something you can't really learn in a book, you can't learn by watching. You've really got to get out there and play.
conversation definitely goes.
Button moves over here to seat 3.
And please excuse us if you are emailing us right now. We're not getting to your emails because Bart is busy looking at all the listening pictures. And we might not get to your emails all night. So don't worry, we'll read them tomorrow. No, seriously, actually, please keep emailing us at live@thebike.com.
People that got knocked off.
4-way action here, limped around. 8,
8,
5, 10 here. Well, seat 9's got bottom 2. 2 diamonds.
Yeah, not much of anything else for anybody else, huh?
Bob is going to come out and bet here with top pair, weak kicker. His hand can't take any heat. Now, David's got a flush draw on seat 2, but he's not in the hand.
Now, is this hand strong enough for side of slow play?
No.
I mean, you look at the draws out there. I mean, somebody got Jack 9, somebody has 6-7, somebody has a 10.
Well, Bob is bet with 10 deuce. It's up to Aaron now. He's not going to call. Let's see what side does here.
Heads up.
Oh, it's heads up, but here's a clear-cut case of action killer card.
I mean, you just can't. What is a safe card? I mean, is there a safe card besides maybe a 3?
He's going to raise. He's going to
Yeah, I mean, I think you
200.
have to raise this.
So,
And basically, you're looking for like a black 3 or a black deuce. But the black deuce isn't even safe. And Bob, like you said, he can't take any heat. He takes it down.
Bottom 2.
I got to tell you, man, you're a trooper. Bart's sitting here, coughing up a lung.
Sorry about that.
No, don't apologize, man. I hope our fans realize
I
what
actually
you go
wasn't.
through.
I actually wasn't coughing at all yesterday. Now I'm only coughing when I'm talking more and more. You know, usually I'm at home talking to myself in my room, but I put a stop to that last night. Kind of give the voice a little rest.
Now Queen 6 is down. Have a good laydown.
Button moves over here to seat 4.
Strato. Wow, you grew even more, Pedro?
Yeah, what do you think about Clemens maybe coming back to the Red Sox, Dave?
Hey, man, I got to tell you, it definitely. I still think Boston is the team to beat. So
Pocket Kings over here for.
You throw Clemens in there, I think they're the favorite.
Is it any good? Mute?
Seat 2 raised here, Pocket 5. Are you serious?
Yeah. No, we got them both on.
Yeah.
Did David Kelsey just ask them to shut the Lakers off and turn it on American Idol? Oh, that is sad.
Talk about somebody losing all their street cred.
Yeah.
And I don't think Kelsey had any street cred before that. Man, I tell you.
This is an absolutely horrible hand to golf.
I tell you, Kelsey actually invited me over to play. He's going to have some sort of, he just got a loft downtown. And he wanted to have kind of a home game with Barry Woods and Gus, and was inviting me and you down there to play. But I got to tell you, if he's going to have American Idol on the background, I'm not sure if I'm going to show up.
Raised by Kelsey and a re-raised by Bob. The action's on Aaron. I don't know what he's thinking about.
You don't want an American Idol. Have 2 chances at a flush. Fade roll it.
No way.
Yeah, he is.
I gotta see who wins tonight.
You got a side bet.
Paper tomorrow.
And David's not going to call. Now, David had enough money. Now, if somebody else had $2,000, $3,000, I think he can call with pocket fives.
Right.
Problem was Bob didn't have enough money. One thing you really have to be aware of when you're playing No Limit Hold'em is your chip stack and your opponents.
American Idol?
It's 2 hours tonight. An hour tonight. Come on. Straddle.
And we're going to get a straddle pod here. George is going to make it $10 to go.
Please, that would be better.
Playing a little short right now. We only got 7-handed.
No, that's a close. You want the Lakers on? Yeah.
No, I'd much rather.
And look at George. He picks up kings in his straddle spot. Oh, man.
Pretty nice straddle hand.
Yeah, it's a great straddle hand. Now, unfortunately for him, nobody really has a decent hand.
15 minutes because we're giving the guys backstage and stuff to talk about, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you wonder, Aaron will probably come in with ace-3 of diamonds. He might even raise it as a straddled spot.
You know,
So anyway, I'm hoping that
They're probably watching it. They're probably watching
So
it.
guys, I'm hoping that Catherine just takes the whole thing.
The manager of the bike is like this right now.
And look at this.
Can you
He
please
just
turn this
announces
off?
raise,
Nobody
and
thinks
Jerry
all the players
folds.
are into the American Idol.
And what is Aaron going to do now? Aaron's going to probably move all in, and he does.
What, with ace-3? That was an obvious all-in move.
From Aaron, yeah, I expected it. I just saw it coming. I don't know why. I just saw it.
Well, he's got one overcard with diamonds. Oh, that's no help.
No,
It's an ace and an ace only.
and it can't be a spade now. And he got that to 2 outs there on the turn when the queen of spades fell.
You're pretty good there if you knew that money was going in with ace-3 of diamonds.
It was just the way Aaron was playing tonight. He limped in. George is kind of a loose, aggressive player. I think Aaron is like, you ever notice when you sit down at the table? I mean, obviously, when we're playing, it pays, obviously, to be focusing on players. And you ever notice when a player just looks like he's ready to go broke?
Well, he's got more chips in his pocket. He
No,
just
no,
pulled it
definitely,
out.
but he's just ready to go. Or playing a tournament, and he's just ready to go.
And of course, we always talk about in this show how little value ace small card has on a 5-card board run. You're not ahead of anything, with the exception of, say, pocket deuces or a dominated 3. Like if the guy had raised with king 3 suited, well, you're ahead of that.
Yeah, and pocket deuces.
You're not really ahead of pocket deuces, but the
No.
only thing you are far ahead of is another 3, like deuce 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only hand you've dominated, and
Right.
you really think this guy is raising with a 3 in his hand.
That's right.
I mean, and even if the guy has ace deuce, it's going to be chopped up anyway.
Right. It's such a bad hand.
It really is. But I had a feeling, watching Aaron for the last hour and a half, I just had a feeling that he was going to put his money in.
3-way action here. Queen deuce 3, all spades on the flop, limped around.
Bet 20.
We get a $20 bet here by Jerry with Jack 9.
And I don't think anybody's going to call this, unless Aaron is tilting.
Now you know why I was laughing about the straddle.
Jerry is going to take it down. The more aggressive Jerry.
Yeah.
We got about an hour and a half left in the show. Again, tomorrow night, $25.50 no limit home at $3,000
Has
minimum.
anybody ever
buy-in.
seen this show with the
I got to tell you, I was so. Well, the one thing, I actually wrote about this in my blog. So I'm sitting there on Friday watching the Lakers game when I hear that the Texans passed on Bush.
Never seen him in my life.
Yeah,
First of all, I don't know how anybody can pass on Bush.
right.
But,
How the hell did Leinart end up 10th?
yeah, you know what? He's got a kind of a weak arm. The only other team that needed a quarterback after the Titans were the Jets.
Yeah.
And they were worried that in the Meadowlands, there's swirling winds, that Leinart just doesn't have the arm for that place.
Yeah.
And I actually like it. I mean, I like the fact they got Kellen Clemens, the quarterback out of Oregon. But I was so upset. I was like, man, I got to tell you. To me, Reggie Bush is like a Hall of Fame player. You have a chance to get him, you go get him.
35.
I was a little disappointed.
$35. Well, you can never really know, you know. When's the last time a bona fide #1 college pick really became a bona fide NFL star?
Yeah, but they're talking about Reggie Bush being like, I mean, he was as much a sure thing as like Marshall Faulk or Barry Sanders. And those guys turned out pretty good.
Boston raced it with 5-6 suited, and see #1 called a 7-9 off suit.
Well,
George
7-9's got a
checks.
gut shot.
It gets check, turns a 9.
Oh, now he's picked up a pair of 9s.
Yeah, I can tell if they have a good performance.
Well, Boston's got still a gut shot. He goes check again, and the river is a 10. And George is good here with the 9.
It's a one-liner to a straight. Anybody with a queen or 7 would have a straight, and George's got that straight.
Yeah, George actually has the bottom end of the straight here.
Yeah, but I mean, can you even bet it?
Boston just kept checking it the whole way.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be the next Simon Cowell. You're the Simon
I mean,
Cowell.
the
I
Rivers
think
of-
if you're going to raise with 6-5 suited, you get it heads up. I understand. You know, sometimes when you raise with a 5-6 suited after a few limpers, say you're trying to raise to get it isolated heads up, but say 4 or 5 people call you. Now the flop was Jack 4-8. I have no problem checking it there and maybe picking up a miracle gut shot
Yeah,
with 4 people in there. But I mean, heads up. I mean, what's the point, right?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of it is if you're going to raise in position with 5-6, yeah, why not take a shot at it? In all likelihood, he probably takes the pot down.
But I
Especially with Boston's image.
I am one for checking when you totally miss when you're against 4 or 5 people.
Yeah,
I mean,
why not?
come on.
I mean, there are some people at the school of thought in the sense of, hey, I picked up a draw. I want my free card. I don't want to get check raised off of my draw.
Right.
Yeah, he says that now.
You bet on it?
Believe me, I would tell you if I haven't. Completely comfortable.
I got to tell you, sometimes I go with that school of thought when I flop a pretty big hand, like a flush draw with overcards. Like, say I
Right.
raise with king, queen suit, and the flop comes 8-3 deuce with 2 spades. I might actually check there.
Yeah, I mean-
Because- you know what I mean?
It's definitely a way to play it. You
Yeah.
don't want to get raised off that draw. I mean,
Plus, a lot of people won't put you on a flush if the spade card comes.
yeah.
Because
Well, they assume they go, well, you
you've
would
got
have
a flush draw.
bet if you had the flush
Right.
draw.
Come on, McPhee.
Deuce 4-5 here was limped around. And Jerry's going to bet 40 here with top pair.
Well, Boston's open-ended. The problem with his open-ended, though, is it's a pretty obvious one. If a 6 or an ace come, how do you know if you're good? There's also 2 diamonds out there.
Well, Cy,
I mean, how do you know if-
Cy also has an open-ended straight draw, and he has a pair. He's got a mini pair.
Yeah.
If I'm Boston here, first of all, I'm not in that hand. But he's going to raise. He's going to raise here.
Well, I mean, that's a much stronger play than just calling with your
Right.
draw, especially with 2 diamonds out there.
Told you.
Get Cy off the hand.
Yeah, this might work.
Well, does Jerry really want to go to war with a hand like 5-8 of hearts here? I mean, he's got the best hand by far, but
It's 100 more.
You have nice shoes.
Now, go to him, and he's going to be like,
At this stage,
and the board is draw heavy. And might he think that Boston has some sort of draw? The problem is, though, is how do you know what are you really rooting for on the turn?
I mean, what if he's got the 3 of diamonds with the flush draw? I mean,
Oh,
Jesus.
exactly. And Boston also could have. And Boston could have Jack 10 of diamonds. You have
Yeah.
no idea what he has.
but thank you all for indulging.
And then, sure, at the turn in the river come 10-10, and you know, Boston does not get there. But Jerry doesn't know that.
we got to.
But you're going to Vegas and you're not even going to really play poker, right? You're just hanging out.
No, we're going to play. I just probably not going to play a tournament. We're definitely going to go and play.
But are you going to play it like going to have some beers with your friends and play lower level, or are you going to play like go and play like a 10-20 game somewhere?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, I might mess around with my buddies for a little bit, and then
They'll play probably like a 3-5 game or something.
I don't know. It depends. I have a couple of buddies that'll play 10-20, and then I have a couple of buddies that'll play like.
You tell me where your buddies are. They're playing 10-20. I'll head down there.
And I have a couple of buddies that'll play like quarter 50 cents.
Yeah.
I have one guy that makes 6 figures. One of my buddies, he'll make 6 figures, but he more than $100, he won't risk it. Forget it. No way.
Jerry's raised here with pocket kings. I mean, I always just think it's interesting. I mean, you say you've got a couple of buddies that play 10-20. Obviously, they're recreational players. That's a goddamn big game for a recreational player to step into.
Well, I mean,
I know. At the same time, if they're willing to say, it's not a big deal to them if they lost, say, a couple $1,000s at the blackjack table and they're just gambling to have a good time.
that's the whole point of it. I mean, they know how to play poker. They're decent players.
Right.
They're not great, but they're like a lot of the players we play against on a daily basis.
Right.
I mean, they're probably on a comparison level to like a Barry Woods, in that kind of comparison level. Not necessarily like Barry Woods, but in that level of play, where they played for a while, they know how to play the game.
Yeah.
Okay, if they lose a couple $1,000s, it's not going to end their lives.
Right. Talking about like meaning the money, it doesn't make that much.
They're not buying it for $15,000.
Right,
And if
right.
they lose it, they're not going to rebuy it for 20 more. No.
Right. Got a raise here by Aaron with King 9 of Hearts. And Cy immediately calls here with Jack 8 of Hearts.
I mean, most of my friends, I think, would be most comfortable in this game. But they don't really offer this game.
Well, I mean, you do find select places that do like a 2-5 unrestricted or a 2-5,000 max. But yeah, I know what you mean. Queen 5-4 here with a couple of clubs. Both players have missed. Turns a 5. It went check on the flop.
King high is still good here.
Well, and Aaron didn't bet, and Cy's not betting either. The river's a deuce. I got to tell you, man, if I had Jack 8 there and it got checked to me twice, I'm going to bet at least one of those times.
Of course.
You have to, right?
You can't expect Jack high to win.
You know, it's funny,
sometimes if I have ace high, I won't bet it thinking my ace high is going to stand up.
You know, it's funny, I've been to the Bellagio in a while. I don't necessarily. There's a lot of it.
I rather watch the Laker game, though. Big guy.
She's putting it on.
They're not listening to this.
I haven't necessarily been to Bellagio a lot recently, but I know they have a 2-5 200 game. And then what's the next step above that?
They have 2-5 200, and then I want to say the next game is a 10-20 800.
It's like a train wreck.
800 minimum.
10-20 800.
Now, if I can
Big step
find,
up, yeah.
if we can find a 2-5 blind game with unrestricted buy-in,
Actually, I was reading a post here by Surfing Illini. I think he said that the MGM or the Mirage is a 2-5,000 capped game.
see if I can find a 2-5 game with no cap, or even a 1,000 game, I might jump in that game. I'll buy in for a couple of thousand, and my buddies might just buy in 500-600.
Right.
And I'll drink and screw around with them and steal as many pots as I can from them.
Now, it looks like we had a raise here by Jerry with pocket 9s. Yeah, I did see this on the thread here. It was funny that someone brought this up. Yeah, I'm not that familiar, obviously, with Vegas. MGM's 2-5 game. Oh, it has a 500 cap. Still, I mean, there you go, 2-5, 500
Yeah.
cap. 5-way action here. Remember, Jerry brought it in with 9s. And the flop comes out Jack 7-10 with a couple of spades. Two people have spade draws. Now, if you're Boston here, Jerry has bet 75 into a $250 pot. You've got Queen Jack. You've got four people behind you. For me, I think this one goes in the muck pretty easily. I don't know if that's what I'm looking for, right?
Yeah, it's not a real good flop. I mean, you have backdoor, but you've got no straight draw whatsoever.
Well, he calls. Now, Aaron also has a jack. He's got a red Jack 8.
And that's definitely not what you're looking for. Now, he does have a gut shot to the straight.
I'm getting out now.
Well, he's going to fold, it looks like.
Last time I was in this position, I'm still feeling.
I mean, he thinks he's making a huge laydown, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, here's the point I'm just going to make there. Now, I said maybe it goes in the muck there. But for Boston, you know, it's funny. When you have top pair with a weak kicker or a hand that you don't think is that strong, I think you might raise there or fold. Now,
Yeah,
side calls from behind.
You're kind of pricing your draws. Now, let me ask you this. Would you ever just lay down, this is a naked, dry flush draw?
I think
George
this is definitely a time to lay it down.
Because you've got to think that maybe somebody else has spades,
You've
right?
got to bet a call, and you've got the worst flush draw, and it's totally dry. Yeah, I think, and this is a good laydown if he makes it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Talk about reverse implied odds. If the spade comes, he's only going to lose money.
Now, again, for Boston there, I think I either mini raise there or I fold.
Well, there's a 3, and now he's picked up the club draw.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason that maybe you would actually call that, was because of the backdoor clubs.
And he moves in. He moves in here. Gets checked to him. He moves in. The pot is now about, it was about 500. He moves in for 1,100. Well, Cy only has about
that's the thing.
500 left. It's about $1,000 pot, 500 per side to call. No way he can call here.
And I like the play by Boston. If you're going to play this hand, you got to play it hard. And now he plays it hard by moving all in, but he knows he's not really moving all in. He's only risking $500 chip, $500 here.
By the way, for me looking out from this.
But do you see him sitting there with on the flop with the Queen Jack? Might you make it 150 and see what happens behind you?
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean? Especially when people think that, you know, they know that you can mini raise with a big hand too. Sometimes it kind of freezes people. They think you have a monster.
yeah, you could have 8-9 there, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's an easy laydown for Jerry. I mean, yeah, and he lays it down, and Boston takes down the pot. Nice play. Hey, if somebody could actually send us an email, let me know what the scene is like, poker scene down in Vegas, and let me know if there's any unrestricted buy-in game with kind of smallish blinds.
Well, I know actually that there are ones, not that you want to be hanging out here, but I know that, I think actually the Win has a 1-2 unrestricted game.
Really?
Yeah. And
Okay.
something like the Golden Nugget and Binions have 1-2 unrestricted games
Yeah,
too.
we're probably not going to hang out on
Right.
Fremont Street,
Right,
but yeah.
right. No, I'm pretty sure the Win has a 1-2 unrestricted game. I know they have a 5-10 unrestricted game.
See, that the 5-10 unrestricted game is obviously the game it's your bread and butter, my bread and butter right now. I love that game.
Right. I mean, the reason why, again, I mean, I was actually talking about this on Friday, where you, I think, still tend to play. You're definitely willing to play a little bit bigger more often than I am. It's just that the 5-10 game here is so good, I don't necessarily know if it's worth it to risk moving into a 10-20 game, taking a big hit, when I can easily play the 5-10 game within my bankroll and do very, very well.
It all depends on the game. I mean, I'll tell you, last night I played, and you weren't here, I played in a game last night just for a second, and I was trying to get in the 10-20 game because the game was fantastic.
Bottom set here for Aaron. We had a raise, I believe it was by Cy with Queen Jack, and he looks like he's going to make a continuation bet. And he's going to bet. He's going to continuation bet here. Now, Aaron checked the set from up front here, Dave. George quickly folds, and let's see how Aaron's going to play it. $125 bet here by Cy. He's virtually drawing dead here to, I guess, running straight cards. That's about it.
Yeah, and you're out of position with these deuces. What do you do?
He checked it.
Look at Aaron. Now, Aaron's shaking his head.
You know, it's funny. You were talking about how I check raised a flop with the set, which you almost see me never do, and I never do, because if you do check raise here, you might give a guy an escape hatch as an out. Let's say pocket tens, pocket jacks, whereas if you bet into him, you might raise and then become pocket minute.
Well, you look at a board like this, I mean, unless the guy's got 7-8, if a guy is check raising me on a board like this now, especially if it's, say, Jack 6 deuce.
Right.
Let's say the board is Jack 6 deuce, and I have aces, and a guy check raises me that's a solid player that's not, I know he's not making a move, I can almost definitely put him on a set.
Right.
I mean, I guess he could have kings if it's Jack 6 deuce. But that's pretty much it.
Well, and we always talk about, I think that this is going to be an easy laydown, obviously, for Cy. But I got to tell you, we always talk about that now. Now, I know you just said, I guess it could be kings, but that's got to be something that you call up through your head, and that's why a lot of times you might make the call on a board like that with aces, whereas if you had queens and you got check raised with Jack 6 deuce, or even kings, it's a much, much easier laydown.
Of course. One less hand you cannot beat.
But if you have aces, the guy might be doing it with kings. He might be doing it
Definitely.
with, you know.
I mean, oftentimes we see that where the board is, say, 9 high,
right,
and you have aces, and somebody goes, how could you call that with aces? I go, what, the guy couldn't have kings or queens?
Right.
Come on, I mean, you gotta put him on a range of hands, and you can't just say he automatically has a set.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes a set would be played the same way as, say, kings or queens.
Well, especially if you're against a savvy guy that you raise and say he's smooth called the blind with kings or queens, and he's planning on check raising you on a flop of 9-6 deuce with an overpair.
Of course.
But again, aces beats a lot out there that he might have smooth called you with.
Definitely.
Blind.
I mean, you got to put him on a range of probably 6 or 7 hands, and when he check raises you, okay, you take away maybe the ace king, you take away ace queen, and you start putting him on a pocket pair, you know, and you got to think that you might be good, and depending on how much money is in the pot, you might be forced to call.
Real's good, actually. What's the buy-in?
It's a 300 to 1,000 buy-in. You can buy it anywhere in there, and it's because it's a lot of the people that usually play the smaller games.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just.
Bellagio doesn't offer it. That's a great game. Big game.
But that game is like, that's a fine game. That's a very good game. That's a very good. Because you get a lot of players.
Buttons over here in seat 4.
Try to move up to that game because it's hard to move up to the 10-20 game. 5 players. Like such a minimum buy-in was 4.
And here we go, limit around.
Yeah, maybe it's 4 to 1,000.
40 times the big buy-in.
King 7-3 here with a couple of clubs.
Yeah, 5-10.
5-10, 400, probably 400 to 1,000.
It's a goal, and it's a good action game. You get a lot of gambling. Because a lot of
Got checked around the turns, a king here.
From the win?
And the river is an 8.
I missed an email. They were giving me 2 free nights back in January.
And it looks like Bob here is backed into the best hand, Dave.
Really? What are they offering?
And I don't know if anyone's going to put any money. Would you ever bet here with the ace-8, though? I'm going to tell you, I mean, does this almost seem like at the nuts, somebody might not. It's going to sandbag a king twice. And he's going to throw a value bet in.
I actually would bet here. I mean, you might get called by an ace only. You might get called by 7. You might get called by 3.
No, I like this bet. I can't put anybody on a king. And look at this. We've got 8-10 over there for Aaron. I think he's going to call.
Exactly, and
It's a
the
great
ace is
value
going to
bet.
play here. I really like this value bet.
Yeah.
Now, you wouldn't bet a 3. We see sometimes people incorrectly betting a 3 here, but I would bet an 8, definitely. Especially
Unless your
ace-8.
intention was to bet somebody off of a better hand.
Right. Theoretically, you could do that. Email here from Duncan in Lincoln. You want to answer it?
Yeah, he said, Bard, I've lit a candle and sacrificed a goat in your name to ensure your health.
How do you feel about that? Poor
Okay.
goat is dead now because of you.
There you go. We just had a hand with Bobby King versus David's 5-5. David said that David could not call because of Bobby's stack size. How big should your opponent's stack size be in comparison to the size of their bet to call in this situation heads up? Assumptions is that if you hit your set, will, obviously likely double through if your opponent has you covered.
Now, this is a straddled pot, and we're going to see a couple of callers. We've got aces for Jerry.
Yep.
Is a live straddle vice.
And we'll answer your question in just
Is that
a
why
moment.
you were nudging me?
Yeah, it was the we've got a big hand, not nudge.
Yeah.
But nobody else has really got a big hand with him.
See how much Jerry's going to raise. He's going to make it 50. It's not bad. Maybe try to get it heads up.
Now, if anybody's paying attention to, you always want to be focused on how your players are betting, how your opponents are acting when they have big hands or they're bluffing. And you see the way that Jerry kind of spread out his chips there on that bet. If you watch later, when he has king-queen, does he make the same type of movements with his chips? Who knows? I don't think George is going to get involved here, and he does not. And I know Jaime's not going to get involved. And Jerry takes it down.
Well, anyways, we've talked about that before, and getting back to that question, I think, obviously, it's very dependent upon several variables. I think one of the kind of an easy way to think of it is, can I make 10 times the raise amount with my pocket pair? Now, the chances of hitting a set, obviously, are we going to do a chip count here? All right, the chances of hitting a set, obviously, are 7.5 to 1.
Right. On the flop.
On the flop, which is, kind of what you think.
Yeah, you can't look, obviously, you can hit your set 1 out of 5 times on the whole thing, but you're not going to see the turn in the ring.
But part of the things you have to, understand is, your guy might not necessarily have an overpair. He might have an ace-king. You're going to have to hit your set with him hitting a top pair. In this case, you're out of position. That might also play into it. You might also think of what the type of player is.
Right.
Is he going to pay you off?
Definitely.
So I think that in that case, maybe you want against Bobby 10 or 15 times that amount.
Yeah. Chip count here. We got $6,800 on the table. David's got the table covered, $1,250. Actually, that is not correct. We're going to do another chip count in a minute when we get that correct.
About half an hour.
You know where Sherman Oaks is?
Yeah. I'm trying to.
Let's get that chip count fixed up, and then we'll fix it up again for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still trying to learn most of the area.
Yeah, I mean, where you from?
Queen Jack suited here for seat 9.
Originally, but I spent the last 15 years in New York, Brooklyn, and I just bought a place up in Silver Lake.
A lot of things you got to look at. Also, I got to tell you, let's say Bart raises out of the big blind, so I put Bart on a big pair. I'm not necessarily going to call Bart with a small pair. Bart heads up because I know Bart is good enough to get away from your hand. Now, let's say there's a player who's a little less experienced than Bart, who I think can't get away from aces or kings. Well, in that case, I might call with, say, pocket 3s or pocket 4s, because if I hit my hand and I'm in position, I might make 12 or 13 times the bet.
Sai here is made a bet here with Queen Jack. He had raised it pre-flop. Now this is we talk about one of the most difficult decisions in No Limit Hold'em. Is Gus going to continue on here with 7s?
Yeah. Now I always think. Now let's say it was 9-3-4. 7s look a lot better than Jack 3-4, because Jack is one of those cards that everybody likes to play. People like to play Jack 10. People like to play Queen Jack.
But obviously, you talk about one of those big variables is the player.
Of course.
Talk about player, position, and also talk about what the player's raising standards are. If you get a Corporation Mike who raises with any 2 cards, well, then the chances you're going to get paid off, big hand versus big hand, are very slim.
Right, exactly, because you could think about it. The flop could come out 9 high, 9-6-4. You could have a set of 6s, but Corporation Mike could have been raising with 4 deuce.
Right.
And you're not going to make any money, except unless, obviously, his bluffing money. Kings again, man, I tell you. Pocket kings here for seat number 6 and Jerry. Now, this is one of those cases where for $30, you might get more callers in there. Plus, I had the button. I probably call with 8s here because I'm not necessarily behind.
So it looks like Jerry, again, he probably has at least 300 for you to make this call, and he does call.
And plus, if you call, you might induce the players behind the call. So you're already getting actually 4 to 1 on your money because there's going to be 5 people that see this flop. Actually, only 4.
So 4-way action here. It's a $120 pot. Well, 10-9-4 here. Well, Jerry's got the king of hearts.
Yeah, it's not a great flop for Jerry, but not bad.
So everybody's, it's a lot of fun with up there. It's just great. It's got the hot.
Now, Sai is open-ended, but it's really a garbage open-end, isn't it? 7-8 there with the 3 hearts out there.
It's really picking up. Yeah, I was helping my buddy do it.
Jerry's going to bet $105, and I think Boston's going to throw this away.
Like, I'm moving there.
I mean, do you really want to get involved with 2 8s, 8 of hearts?
No. I can't imagine that he's going to continue on here.
Yeah. I mean, even if Jerry just had the ace-king with the ace of hearts, I mean, you wonder.
Great spot.
And Boston reluctantly gets away from it here. I don't know what Aaron is thinking about.
Hi, welcome back to my...
And, wow, Cy makes the call here with 7-8 here, Dave. Wow.
Well, he's drawing live, but he needs...
And look at this, the turn's a 9, no help. Jerry's still in the lead.
And I gotta take it, Jerry. I think you just move all in right here.
Yeah.
You hope the guy calls you with, say, a 10.
We actually checked Rivers a 6.
And he gets
and
there.
look at this, Cy, he hits the offsuit 6.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awful.
my
tell
God.
you.
What a horrible beat.
That really is an awful beat. I mean, Cy could only catch. He had 3 6s to catch or 3 jacks to catch, and that was it. And he hit one of them.
$150 bet.
And Jerry missed the bet there on the turn. He really did.
Yeah.
And I think he knows it.
And again, though, moving back to when we talk about small pocket pairs, I think you can definitely build off of it. It's kind of a simple rule of thumb. 10 times the raise amount. If you talk about suited connectors, you up it to 15 or 20 times. Let's take a look at an updated chip count.
Let's do it. Well, that's more like it. Kelsey's got about 2,400 there. Boston with 1,200. George with over 1,000 now. And I got to hand to George, he's a consistent winner in this game. I liked the play earlier that he made with that open-ended straight draw. I just got unlucky. And we got about $8,000 on the table. Man. Let's see how they're doing. And, there it is. Kelsey up $1,750. Boston's up $700. Wow, and George is actually about even now because he lost that first 500, I want to say. And Aaron down 800, Gus down 800, having a bad go of it. Jerry now down about 500, having a bad go of it.
Email here from Aaron Lichtenberger. He's talking about how he had actually emailed us or me a question. Of course, you can PM David and I on 2+2 strategy question. We'll try to get back to it as quick as possible. I apologize, Andrew, if I did not get back. I was almost dead on Sunday. But I don't even remember if I saw your question. I actually get a lot of PMs.
Yeah.
I actually got a PM from that guy Chodo over the weekend, too. He said he was coming here again to L.A., but I haven't heard from him.
Yeah, and the same thing goes for me, obviously. If you did send me a private message and I haven't gotten to it in the last couple of days, I do apologize. I will check them actually after the show tonight.
Well, we had a little raise here by Cy out of the blind, and George is going to re-raise with 6-4 offsuit.
Basically, I had to pay him
And Cy is going to call. So, all right, you get a $50 raise more. Now, I can't quite see how much Cy has to try to figure out if he should call. Obviously, George has it well covered.
The problem is you're calling against George. And this is exactly what we point out here. Let's say the flop comes out ace-king-5. Well, the flop hasn't hit George at all.
Right.
And normally you'd love that flop against the raiser, right?
George is going to lead for 150 here.
And Cy has no idea where he's at here, huh?
No. Definitely, representing something bigger than he has here with 6 high.
No clue here. I mean, clearly George is representing an overpair, something like jacks or queens. Cy can only beat ace-king, and in this case he's in great shape. But how does he know that?
Well, I've actually seen Cy make these types of calls before, but you are only beating a bluff here.
Basically, the way this was set up.
He says, I know I got you right now, David. Gets away from it. Another question here from Andrew Lichtenberger says, how do you guys stack your chips to the table? Stacks 20, ever get creative? Or do you always color up as much as possible? I do always color up as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not really coordinated with my chips anyways. I don't want that many in front of me.
Yeah, it doesn't really depend. I mean, sometimes I'll put them in stacks of 30.
Email here from William Schultz saying that Wynn has a 1-3 unrestricted game.
Wow, see, that game can actually get really big.
And Chris in Wisconsin says the Wynn and Caesar's Palace have unrestricted buying games.
Well, there you go. I mean, since we're staying at the Wynn, it'll be perfect for us.
Yeah.
You both live out past the
Probably calls you anyway.
I like that.
Thanks for the email, Neil Wills.
Scott moves over to seat 9.
He's got a great house up in Albany.
I have a friend that has a house.
Yeah, Wynn 1-3, 100 men, 2-5, 200 men.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's great. A great format there. So that way, my buddies can actually buy in for a couple $100, and I can buy in for a couple thousand.
Yeah.
And we can really mix it up. I'll drive him crazy though.
He's way east of there.
Well, Sai's got pocket 10s here. He's on the button.
Oh, I see. Okay, so Lucky Chewy over on 2+2, but he sent it to us on Sunday, and we have not had a chance to check it out. Obviously,
I think I do remember something from him writing to me.
I had my hands full yesterday with you being sick. Well, quote unquote sick.
We had a raise again here by, I believe it was actually by Jerry, and Sai made a re-raise with pocket 10s, and he's going to take it down. Again, pocket 10s in a cash game, not necessarily a re-raising hand, but...
Although sometimes in this game, when you're a little bit short-stacked, you can go to war with them. Problem is, obviously, if you get re-raised, you're almost pot committed.
Well, that is always inherently the problem with restricted buying games.
My son's school used to do hikes down Friday.
Button moves over here to seat 1.
Ace King suited for Jaime, in seat number 5. Pocket 9s in seat number 6.
How do you feel about red buying out of the country?
Jack 10 for Boston. A couple of interesting hands here. And actually, I think Jaime limped in.
Yeah, and Jerry is all in here with 9s. He's going to move in here with 9s, all in. And again, I do not necessarily ever understand this. I mean, 9s, it's kind of a cutoff. It's better than doing it with King 10 offsuit.
Well, I mean, I guess in this case, he's going to get called by a hand that is behind him. I mean, this is literally almost 50-50. I mean, this is like, what, 51.5% to 48.5%?
Now, I wonder if would Jaime call with Ace Queen suited? Ace King suited is a lot different, obviously.
Of course. Ace King suited, you're really only behind 2 hands.
Right.
That's it. And you've got a lot of other smaller hands badly dominated.
Well, there's the ace.
And Jerry's in bad shape here.
Yeah. Card's a queen.
9, only a 9. He'll do it.
The river's a 6. You talk about, you talk about hand analysis and segmented, what is it called, fractional hand analysis, and exactly what you just pointed out there. I mean, someone might say, well, why call an all-in with ace-king if there isn't any dead money in the pot anyways? And yeah, you might be up against a smaller pocket pair, but why do you just want to make like a coin flip when you're slight dog for, say, $100? The point is that 20, 30, maybe even 40% of the time, it's not 50-50. You're ahead 70-30. And the other 30, 40% of the time, you're 50-50. In that case, it's a call, right?
Exactly. I mean, you can much easier call a bet like that with ace-king suited than you can with, say, pocket 5s.
7s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because pocket 5s or pocket 7s, okay, you're slightly ahead.
Right.
You know, maybe 30, 40% of the time.
It's funny,
you're badly behind.
I was actually watching the latest episode of the WPT, and this guy, Patrick Antonius, was giving Doyle Brunson a lot of shit. Because Doyle Brunson called it all in when they were 3-handed with pocket 3s, which kind of got me scratching my head.
In a cash game?
No, in a tournament.
Okay, now the tournament is a little different depending on how many chips you have compared to your opponents, and also it depends on the payout structure.
He would have went broke. He didn't have a lot of chips.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he thought he needed to gamble based on the blind structure. Who knows? You never know.
Right. No, there's always different variables.
Sometimes there are times, though, in a no-limit game, even with pocket deuces or 3s, you have to go to war just because of the blinds and the structure and so forth.
Dave Kelsey raised here with 3-4 spades from the button.
Got an email here from Flip that I'll get to in a second. Actually, I'll get to it right now. Flip says, and he says it to me, but I'm going to say both of us. He says, David Bard, I was wondering when you play in Vegas or somewhere else, and someone asks what you do you openly tell them that you're a professional poker player? Or do you make up some other job so they don't think you play for a living?
I'm in the hills with a view and so.
But are you going to live in it?
What do you do?
Going on the market right now. Of course.
Bart.
I don't know.
Well, he's going to call.
Oh.
So I'm going to get to it in a second here.
I'm sorry. I assumed the hand was over.
That's why I was staring blankly at the screen when he said that.
I'm just looking at you going, Bart, are you here?
My neighborhood right now, mine's probably going to go for the cheapest. They want to list between 9 and
7 deuce 4. Well, Kelsey out flops him. Side checks.
It looked like size money. It was size hand
No,
from
he was
Marco.
still there. Kelsey's going to continue.
Okay, well now it is. Did you hear the question or no?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
What do you do when you play either in Vegas or somewhere else, and somebody, and you're just getting into like a social conversation, goes, hey, what do you do for a living?
Well, I mean, here at the bike, I mean, there's so many people that know me. I'm going to tell them what I do anyway.
Of course, I know
There's
that
people
here.
around. But, like, say in Vegas?
In Vegas, or let's say you go to, let's say you're in Paris at the Aviation Club.
I don't know. It hasn't really come up. I can't remember it's really been coming up all that much in the last year or year and a half because I've been around here all the time.
Right.
I haven't played a whole lot in other card rooms where people don't know who I am. I don't know. Maybe I'll tell them I'm a broadcaster. And that's what I do for my paycheck, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know?
Now, as for me, I mean, I would probably, because I actually do the show, and I really want to plug the show as much as possible, I'll actually tell people that I do do the commentary for the show.
Right.
You know, it's funny sometimes, actually, I have no problem telling somebody that I'm a professional poker player. As much as it might kill your action, sometimes it gives you some added respect at the table that doesn't hurt your game. You know, sometimes, especially if you're sitting in a game, somebody will immediately respect you, because you're a professional poker player.
I got to tell you, I mean, and I'll tell you right off the bat here in a second, C2 raises here, David Kelsey with 9-10. I know that I can run over certain people here.
Now, is it because of your style of play, or is it
No,
because they know who you are?
I think that they don't think there's any value in getting mixed up with me. And there probably isn't that much.
Right.
Ace 10-6 here on the flop with a couple clubs. George call a deuce 5 offsuit out of position. Kelsey's hit middle pair, and he's going to bet. And he's going to bet 60.
I don't think George can call this.
Actually, he's going to bet 75.
And George is not going to call.
You know, it's funny. I got to tell you. So, it's a lot of people won't necessarily get mixed up with me,
right?
Because they know I'll bet my good hands and such. But at the same time, I'm not ridiculously a reckless player. Now, I'll give you one example, though. A guy who's actually, we saw a lot in this 3-5 game, but who's been playing in the 5-10 game a lot recently. And I think he is relatively reckless when he's deep stacked, is that guy Bobby. And I am just waiting.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he's going to make a move.
Well, he used to play in this game.
Yeah, he thinks he's going to make a move at me all the time. And, when there's a hand that I don't want to go to war with, like it was put to me yesterday, for $5,000 with queens on a board of 10, 6, 7, then okay, I'm not going to go to war with it. But you know as well as I do that you and I are going to bet our good hands. So it's,
exactly.
I'm just going to sit and wait.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes you see players, you see recreational players, and they're not necessarily bad players, good players.
Yeah.
But they almost want to give professional poker players action because they want to challenge themselves. They want to see if they can get them. We see Amir all the time.
Yeah.
And who does he give action to more than anybody? And that's Mo.
Right. It was linked around here, and the flop comes ace, jack, queen, couple clubs. And George is going to bet 25 here. He's got the best hand here with king, queen. Sai is thinking about calling with queen 9.
And he's going to call.
Wow.
And we're going to see this heads up. Pot's about $50. And there's the ace. And that's going to make you think your queen is even better. I know I'm George. I continue betting this. Especially with the third club out there. Now the 9 on the river changes nothing because both players have aces and queens with a jack kicker. Actually, I'm sorry, aces and queens. George has got the king kicker. Sai has got a jack kicker. The 9 changes nothing.
Yep, and just a call here by George at the end, and there you go. The king is going to play.
Yeah.
Interesting email here by Fleet Easley. Very interesting email. Talking about, you keep talking about stack size and things like in relation to the stack size being able to play certain hands. He said, I always thought that having a larger stack size in relation to the blinds is a good thing. But you say some odd things. Number 1, people can't call re-raises against you with small pairs if you are short. Number 2, people can't call with random suited connectors if you are short. Number 3, people can't call an opening raise with small pairs unless they can make 10 times the amount, which they can't if you are short. It seems like people would have to respect a short stack in a ring game. So what's the disadvantages? Because it seems like a smart idea in some games. Hey, it's a great point. All those things that you say there, Fleet, are correct about short stacks.
Definitely. Barry Greenstein talks about it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes he likes to play a short stack in a no-limit game, and a lot of people do subscribe to that theory.
I was actually talking about Nicole Pepe, too, the same type of thing. I think you leave away expected value if you're an experienced deep stack player by playing short stack. Right. I think I make a lot more money with a deeper stack than I do with a short stack.
Yeah, to me, if your strength in your game is pre-flop play, well, then in that case, you probably want to either play limit hold'em or you do want to play short stack, no limit.
Right.
Now, if your strength is post-flop play,
right,
Well, then in that case, you really want to take advantage of your stack size where you have enough money to raise somebody off of a marginal hand. You have some money to make calls with kind of questionable hands. You got to realize that if you have a short stack, you can't call. Let's say somebody who's somebody who can't get up a hand has aces. Well, you can't call them with 5-6 suited and break them.
Right.
You know, obviously you're limiting your upside if you're always in there with a short stack. You also put yourself in a tough spot. Now, let's say you buy in for a short. Let's say you buy into a 5-10 game for just $500. You buy in for the minimum. And let's say you get lucky a couple times, and now you're up to $1,500, $2,000. Well, are you suddenly uncomfortable playing with a bigger stack? Do you have to get up and leave? Or what if the game is good? You don't want to get up and leave. So, a little food for thought. Now, obviously, playing short, I mean, Barry Greenstein says it's not a bad way to go. It's not a terrible strategy. It's not one that you and I subscribe to, though.
C8 is going to straddle here. Like you said, I think it does. I think you leave some expected value on the table if you're a good no-limit player, if you're playing short stacked.
Right.
But I think it can be profitable. And I always hear about online players complaining about how guys will log into a site, play short stack, make a score, or maybe only win 50 or 60 or 100
just get up and
bucks
leave.
in a 600 game, get up and leave, and then resit back down with another short stack with the min.
Okay.
And they're allowed to do that at the same table.
All the power to you. I mean, that's not my kind of poker.
Right.
But hey.
Six-way action here, straddled around and limped around. Flop comes out 10-5-3 with a couple of clubs. And Jerry has the best hand here. Now, George has an overcard and a flush draw. It's a $70 pot. And George is going to bet out on the flush draw. Now, is Jerry going to get involved? He had limped in on the button with 7-10 here.
I got to tell you, I like George's game. I really do. You see how George, even after he lost that big pot, he didn't really steam.
Well, all right, here we go.
Got himself right in there.
Now, this is interesting. Jerry is going... I always talk about this. You know, maybe if you've got a hand that's kind of vulnerable, he's going to min-raise here. I actually like this play a little bit more than just calling, although he was on the button. Now, this play might be more effective if you're next to act.
Yeah.
He's on the button, so you've got all those guys that folded in between. You might not need to raise.
Definitely.
We'll see.
Now, if George had 2 overcards to the board, I think he can actually re-raise him. But with only 1 overcard, you might want to play it a little more cautiously.
So it's a min-raise here by Jerry.
I mean, you might just smooth call here and then bet the turn no matter what comes. Kind of a stop blockish bet. Name your price.
And George is going to call.
Now, the pot is how much here?
Well, the pot is now it's actually a $270 pot. The turn's a deuce.
Now, here I bet about, the pot's, what did you say, 200?
270, maybe 125.
Maybe exactly. You bet about 125.
Well, it goes check, and the river's a jack.
Wow, I'm really surprised Jerry took the free card.
I got to tell you, if I'm Jerry, I'm prepared to call an unobscene bet here on the river. If the guy's got Jack 10, he's got me. But at this point, I don't think a guy bets a big 10 here. I think he's betting busted clubs more often than not, or Jack 10. So
Definitely.
I would call here a non-obscene bet here on the river.
And
George is
actually going to check it down. He gives up here.
Yeah.
Doesn't think he can get Jerry off the hand. And Jerry takes it down.
It's an interesting hand the way that happened. Again, Jerry's hand is actually so weak that he almost is kind of scared to put any more money in. He almost wants to take 2 free cards, the turn and the river. But if he's going to check the turn, I think you have to call a non-clubbed river. Yeah. And then if you get Broadway that comes on the river, well, you were either behind already with a 10 with a higher kicker.
Or the guy got lucky with a high flush.
Or the guy is betting 2 pair. Because, again, how often would somebody be good enough to bet King 10 there for value when a Jack comes on the river?
Even better.
Ace 10.
I mean, would George bet a King there on the river?
Or King high flush draw.
Yeah.
Right.
Would he bet a King there?
So any overcard to the 10, he might have backed into
Oftentimes he just check it down and just take the pot and hope he doesn't need to bet.
Right.
I agree. Now, it's funny, oftentimes we always talk about pot control in a no-limit game. And sometimes the best way to actually control a pot is to actually raise. Because it kind of makes everybody else put their brakes on.
Right.
And you saw there, by actually raising on the flop, he got no more money in the pot. He slowed it down.
Which is exactly what it looked like he wanted to do.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, because he was the big because
Jerry had the button last time.
Yeah, the button is in the right place. The button is in seat 7. Donna, feel free to tell them that. The button is in seat 7.
Because there needs to be 2 blinds, so I'll cover both blinds like I'm buying the button again. Correct. That way he's not.
I mean, the way I normally play that, I mean, I'll also play it if I have a big hand like this as well. But you might check call there with the king eight of clubs. You might put out about a $125 bet, name your price. With a hand as weak as 10-7, Jerry might not even call that, but he's certainly not going to raise it. And you then name your price. While if you check it to Jerry, Jerry might actually bet the pot. That would be a $250 bet, and now you can't call with your flush draw. Essentially, you're naming your price for your draw. Plus, obviously, there is some fold equity there as well. Thanks for the email. I got an email from Jeff Klein telling me about the games in Vegas. Appreciate that, Jeff. And we're going to see this 5 ways, limped around $25 pot. Queen, Jack 9, couple of hearts out there. Now, Gus has got an open-ended straight draw. He's got 10 of clubs in his hand. Nobody else has got much of anything. And Gus is probably going to put a little money in there. He is. He's going to put $20 into about a $25 pot, and that'll probably get it done. And apparently it will. Now, to further answer that question in the sense of, do I advertise that I'm a professional poker player? No, I'm not going to walk in there with, like, you know, a bulletin board and just sit down and go, hey, guys, I do this for a living, okay? I mean, I don't think anybody would be such a pompous asshole to do that. But at the same time, if I'm sitting down with a guy and I'm talking and we're having, you know, some conversation and he asks me what I do for a living, I'm not going to lie.
No, not your big blind.
Got him. Foiled again. I don't shadow that. It's not a profit.
I mean, the funny thing is if I'm playing, like, the 1-3 no-limit game and I'm only in there for $150 at the win, the one that Jeff Klein was telling me about, I might be the livest player in that game. Especially with my buddies. My buddies and I will be drinking up like a fish.
Usually it's the other way around. Can't you protect my big blind by straddling?
Now, know if I'm sitting down and I've got more than a couple $100 in front of me, I'm playing for real then.
Cinco de Mayo, a few days away here, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boston's raised it up here.
Got a lot of suited cards out there. Ace-4 of clubs, Ace-10 of diamonds, Ace-7 of hearts.
Boston made it 30 to go with Ace-10 of diamonds.
And Jerry's going to call with a hand that can be easily dominated. I'm surprised he's calling Boston's raise out of position with King-Queen offsuit. Now, see, he's hit his king, but he has no idea where he's at.
King, Jack, 8 with a couple spades.
I mean, is that the flop you're looking for? You got to realize you can't beat Ace-Queen, Ace-King. You can't even beat King-Jack. I mean, you really can't beat much here. And Jerry's going to put some money out there and see where he's at. And that's probably going to be enough to take it down. Nobody's got spades. Boston's got a gut shot straight draw, but not much to hang your hat on with 2 diamonds.
Give the man a spot.
Yeah, and there it is.
It's funny, I got a little post here from Demon Deke says, hey, speaking of telling people you're a professional poker player, Tuck, how did your wife's parents react to that fact? You know, it's funny, I've actually known my wife longer than I've been a professional poker player. My in-laws, I got to be like the luckiest guy in the world. My in-laws are super cool. I mean, super, super cool. They're both actors. They're both really, really, hip, and they're totally with it. You know, sometimes we have like little family poker nights and stuff, and they're just really accepting and really cool about it. I guess being actors, you know, a lot of people have always questioned their jobs, and they've always been accepting of different kind of jobs, so I guess I'm lucky in that sense. I actually think my in-laws are more accepting of it than my parents. My dad thinks it's cool, but my mom is like, oh my God.
There are some huge, you know, it's funny, I was talking to that guy Roger Rudd that was in here a couple of times, and he's not necessarily an actor, but he's a stand-up comic. There's some big parallels between poker playing and somebody being in the entertainment business as acting. You know, somebody who's trying to do it professionally, it seems like 98 to 99% of the people fail at it, cannot make a living at it. You know, when you look at it and you tell someone this is what you're doing for a living, they kind of scoff at you.
Right.
Especially if you've gone through college and your parents have paid for your college, like mine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for me, it's kind of, I think my dad is just one of those old-fashioned types. You can't imagine how I can be sitting on my ass playing cards for
How can you do
after
that?
he paid $100,000 for 4 years of school, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Right. I mean, in the end, hey, you know what? As long as you're happy, I always try to say this, like, as long as you're happy and you're making a living, who cares what you do? You're not doing anything illegal, you're not hurting anybody.
$40 raise here by Bob with ace king, and Aaron is going to re-raise, looks like 140 here with jacks. We really have seen a lot of somewhat marginal hands overplay. Now, I'm not saying jacks is a bad hand, but Bob is raised under the gun. Am I always going to re-raise to 140 and commit pretty much my stack with jacks? I mean, is Aaron going to call an all in if Bob moves all in?
Well, that's the nature of this game. I mean, I would not be surprised. Now, I think with how much money Aaron has here, I think it's 2 moves for Bob. I think he's moving in or he's laying it down. I don't think you can just call this. Right?
Looks like Aaron has another 200 left.
Right, so what, are you going to call 140, and then if you miss, you're going to check and fold? You need to see all 5 cards.
I do, and at the same time, you know, if you figure you're against a player where ace-king might have fold equity, if you push all in, maybe you do, but against Aaron, I don't think there's any equity. Look at this, actually, Aaron's got more money. He's got like 400 in front of him here, Dave.
Well, that's the problem now. Now you missed, like, your Bob, and what do? You going to check and fold?
Apparently, 9-4 deuce here.
South? Yeah. Like 6th, south down there?
Let me just check and make sure I got 2 of those jacks. Yep, I do.
But is it north of the 10 or south of the 10? I've never been there. If they got to view the hill, they're probably like...
I think he's moved all in here, Dave.
Yeah. I haven't been there yet. I always think it's somewhat of a measure of strength when you move all in and don't put your chips in there.
Bob gets away from it.
You're not trying to intimidate your opponent. You're not putting the chips in there because you don't expect to have to bring them back.
But, you know, it is funny, and I assume...
And look at that, the turn was an ace. And that's why I think, I really think with ace-king there, I don't mind the fold pre-flop. I really don't out of position. Some people say, ace-king, you can't lay down ace-king out of position. I mean, pre-flop. I have no problem laying down ace-king pre-flop. But when my opponent is not that deep, there's no way I'm going to call off 25% of my stack there and then just see 3 cards. I'm going to see all 5 cards. And you know what? I'm going to move in there with ace-king, and I want my opponent to jacks to know I'm going to do that with ace-king, aces, and kings. So out of the 3 hands I have, there's only 1 hand you can beat. And in that case, we're 50-50.
What's the spread tonight?
Limped around here to David Kelsey, and he's going to raise it up with 6-7 of diamonds. He's going to make it 45 to go. So obviously he's opened his game up.
Kelsey, obviously our big winner tonight. Now he's raising 7-6 here on the button. Nice spot to do it. He's got position. Aaron goes into the tank on almost every decision. This is like the major decision. You got ace-3 offsuit, buddy. Throw it away. There you go.
Saying that's not a good hand?
Hey, some people's trash is some people's treasure. Who knows? Well, Boston's got top pair. Now, David's got second pair with backdoor diamonds. You wouldn't think the 10 would help Boston, but hey, Boston's going to bet right into his opponent. Wow. I got to tell you, that's a hand I might check raise there. But it's not a bad play by Boston. Now, if David has an overpair,
you might check
you're in a
raise
tough spot. Well, it's a tough spot. It's heads up. You're expecting David to bet no matter what flops, right? You might check raise there, thinking you have the best hand.
And
Remember,
if you get called, you know you're in hell's place.
Well, I mean, David bet on the. He bet. It's a button raise.
Right.
I'm not necessarily going to give him credit for jacks for races. Okay. I'm thinking my ace-10 is good, and I want to actually get a little more money in the pot. If I bet it, I'm letting my opponent off. If I check it, he's probably going to bet it. Now, you know I don't check raise very often. That might be one of the few cases where I do.
Bud moves over here to C3.
I mean, the problem with there is if I bet into him there and I get raised, well, then what do I do?
Right.
And I guess you could make the same
Same
argument.
thing if you get check raise.
If I check raise and he calls me, yeah, obviously I'm in bad shape there too.
Yeah. Ace Queen of Hearts here for seat number 1. That's George.
I mean, I guess it's one of those times where I think I can go to war with it a little bit. Like, I really think I have the best hand. But one of the reasons
now
it's
remember, if
dangerous.
he does have the nut flush draw there and pushes back at you, you of course do have the ace. So it's no good.
Exactly.
Those little things might make a difference between a fold and a call.
Of course, right. Well, you can start putting him on a hand. You go, wait a second, he doesn't have this hand, that's for sure.
But if he has Ace King of Hearts, he's not as big, not even really a favorite like
no,
he thinks
he's got 12 outs, that's it.
Right. Got a raise here by David Kelsey. Look at this. George limped in with ace-queen, 1 off the cutoff. Is he going to pull the limp re-raise here? No, he's just going to call.
Now, the problem with slow playing this hand is there's no way he's going to hit his hand and David's going to hit his hand, is there? Well, what do I know?
Look at that. The flush draw against top pair. Very rare, obviously. Now, I assume that George is going to check raise here, right?
I would
Queen,
assume
jack,
so, and I
three.
don't mind the play in this case.
$100 bet here with the spade draw from Kelsey.
Now, you got to really realize these guys are really deep.
And George is going to raise.
Yeah, and I would imagine, what, a $200 raise? Yeah, I was going to say that.
Well, I think that Kelsey can at least call. I mean, he does have a dry flush draw, but he is in position.
Yeah.
And did Kelsey move all in? He's moved all in over the top, a huge semi-bluff.
Wow.
With just a flush draw.
That's all
and
he's
that
got.
really puts George to the test.
Yeah, he's got backdoor spades. I mean, backdoor straight
Great
draw.
possibilities.
But
I mean, a check raise to 200. The pot was 500. Kelsey moves in now, and George has about 900 left. That means that the pot is 1,400, 900 to call, and George makes a call really without a second thought. And this pot's over $2,000.
And I got to tell you, I don't mind the way George played the hand. I really don't mind the way David has played the hand.
$2,300 pot here, and they can't run it more than once in this game. Here we go to the turn.
There
Turns
it
a
is.
spade.
And that's it.
And Kelsey's going to win huge here. $2,300 pot.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And talk about it, the funny thing, George and Kelsey, they've gotten all their money in with best hand versus draw twice now, and Kelsey's won it both times.
I got to tell you, power of the semi-bluff there, but boy, we've seen some guys make some big calls there. I mean,
couldn't Kelsey have kings there?
couldn't he have kings? Couldn't he have aces? Couldn't he have a set of jacks? He's a late position raiser. Y'all could have.
How about ace-queen with the ace of spades?
Yeah, I just, again, I mean, when you're looking at it, I don't think a good no-limit player, and I think David is a good no-limit player, is not going to come back over the top of you as a pure bluff. Like you said, always leaves himself in the escape hatch. And if you're at best calling all your money down to be against a flush draw, maybe 20 or 30% of the time, and the other 70 or 80% of the time Kelsey has you beat there, I can tell you, if I'm in that situation, I see that hand, I say Kelsey has George beat at least 75% of the time. The other 25% of the time, maybe he's doing it with a flush draw. Yeah. Does that make it right for George to call? Probably not.
I mean, that's
right?
the worst hand he probably has.
Right.
If I'm in the ace-queen spot, if I'm in George's spot, I'd probably put him more on like ace-10 of spades, where he's got a spade draw plus the gut shot wheel, or the gut shot Broadway straight. Man.
And he just made the call. I mean, it wasn't much of a thought, but again, if you're like there, and 20% of the time you're in a best-case scenario where the guy's got a flush draw, but the other 80% of the time you are drawing as like an 85-15% dog going with 2 cards left. To commit so much money there, I don't know if it's the right move.
The night of the Kelsey, look at this, man. David is just absolutely running over this table. He's probably got close to $3,700, $3,800. Let me keep it there for a second. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Wait a minute. What's the guess?
Man, well over $3,000 there.
Can we force him to color up, Donna? Yeah, please.
It's almost humorous now seeing all those yellow chips.
Just tell him that it will make it easier for us to keep track of how much he has in front of him, which is true. Jerry's got pocket 10s here.
Yeah. And I really can't fault either player. I mean, I don't think the hand was played terribly by either player. I like the check raise there for the ace-queen. I like the bet, and then I like the move in there by Kelsey. It really puts pressure on a guy with ace-queen.
What if you had ace-king of spades there, too? I mean,
Well, those are the two hands. You put them almost on. You almost put them on a straight draw, gut shot straight draw with the spade draw minimum.
Queen 3 deuce here with a couple of spades.
I mean, you got to realize you're putting your money in there, hoping that he has that, hoping he doesn't have a set of jacks.
And Sai's going to bet out here 75 with a gut shot to the 4 with 5-6. Jerry checked the 10s, and he gets away from me. Check folds there.
I mean, like you said, I mean, that's the worst hand he can have is a flush draw. Maybe some sort of gut shot straight with a flush draw. He can easily have aces, kings, or a set of jacks there. Very easily.
Play it the same way, probably.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Of course he's going to bet. You're going to raise. He's going to move all in.
Yeah.
You think about it. If he has aces there, with a board like that, he doesn't want to mess around.
You don't get a body like this overnight, you know. This is years of abuse.
You won't soon see me do that again. And you will tonight.
I've been working all day on my abs.
Button moves over here to seat 6.
Now I've been just eating and drinking.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansing. You're watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 5 and 5. And this is a restricted buy-in game. You can buy in anywhere from $300 to $500, but we probably have close to $9,000 on the table. And we stream live cash games every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10. Tomorrow night's games are whale night. 25, 50 blinds, unrestricted buy-in. Usually have close to $80,000, $90,000 on the table. Game's absolutely insane tomorrow night.
Looks like we got 4 or 5-way action here, which limped around. And Aaron's going to come out, and he's going to bet with ace-9 here from the blind. He bets 25.
Oh, I thought I was getting in trouble. I thought I was getting in trouble. I thought I screwed something up. Oh, he's 33.
Gus is trying to figure out if he's going to get involved with an 8 here. 7, 8, not really.
Once again, I mean, the only time Aaron is really fired into the pot is when he's got top pair or better. Usually he's calling with something worse than that. Interesting email from Dave in Redondo Beach. He says, hey guys, I'm a big fan. When my wife and I were in Vegas last month, we stayed at the Wynn, played the $1, $3 game with the $200 minimum no cap. He said it's a very live game. He says his wife and he both killed it. The only thing he disliked about it was they used $3 chips and they seemed to do nothing but confuse everyone.
$3 chips?
Yeah. Love your show. Thanks a lot, Dave. Appreciate the email.
Hey, have you checked out the new archive section over at liveatthebike.com? It's actually laid out in a different manner, and it's
Is it?
pretty cool, yeah.
Much easier to follow now, huh?
Yeah, I think that we're going to start
Doing
to add,
improved?
well, we've got all the dates up there. We don't have that captions because we're using a different service, but that's coming, obviously, in the near future, where they caption in everyone that was on the show. Might even get captions as to other people, too, right? Not necessarily just famous names coming up. A lot of times people ask us, well, can I find this person?
Can I
Who's a buddy
find,
of my
like,
show?
an episode that you were in, say,
Right.
or an episode?
Well, we have the ones that we were in under commentators, but...
Do we? Okay.
Yeah. Say just like a buddy.
Right.
You know. Pocket Queen's here for Bobby in seat 4. And he's going to raise it up. He's going to make it 50 to go.
And George is going to call here at 9-10.
Now look at his stack. For you to make this call out of position against Bobby with 9-10 offsuit to a $50 raise, I'd almost want to make $1,500 as a minimum.
Well, now George's got a pair. There's also an ace out there. Can he represent? Well, he's not going to have a chance, though.
Let me ask you this question. If George check raises here, is it a form of a semi-bluff with 9-10?
I guess it
I
is.
mean, I guess it's all like semantics.
I mean, I guess
so.
If
Calls.
If you think the guy is on queens, if you think he has queens or kings, it is a semi-bluff in the sense that you have a draw to beat him.
He checks, and Bob's going to bet again.
Wow. And, George has played pretty well up till now. Made a couple of mistakes here and there, but his game is pretty solid, even though he's down tonight. Just not having the luck. But I got to tell you, I don't like the way he's played this hand, obviously. Calling with 9-10. Like you said, I mean, to call a $50 raise, I want to probably have 20 times. I probably want to have about $1,000.
Right. No, I said 1,500. I said 30
Oh,
times.
okay, 30 times.
It's not even a suited connector. You're out of position against a tight player. You get 9-10 and you're out of position. I mean, I might make a $50 call. I can tell you, sometimes when I'm 1,500 stacked against a guy in the 5-10 game, I don't make that call heads up for $50.
No, definitely not. I don't care how much money I have, actually.
Yeah, no way.
Sometimes I can have 5,000. You can have 5,000. Right. I don't care.
Right. There's just so many things that have to happen right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to come out with like 2 9s, 2 10s, without an ace, without a king. Or maybe I hit a straight and he hits his... I mean, maybe it comes out like queen, jack, 8, right? And I got a straight and he's got top set and then he can't fill up.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Really difficult.
Yeah.
When you start inventing ways to win.
Well, I figured when you said you had an overdraft.
4-way action here. It looks like it was limped around. 8 deuce 5 on the flop. Well, 6-7's open-ended here, but look at this. 8-5's got top 2 in seat 1. George has got top 2. And Cy has come out and bet with king deuce from up front. Let's see if George is going to raise. Yeah, he's got a mini raise here, it looks like.
Now, this is one of those hands, if you have 6-7, depending on how big the pot is, I'd probably throw it away because there's no implied odds. George is already all in.
Pretty much all in here, yeah.
Exactly. If I'm calling a $70 bet here, I want to be able to win, say, $400 or $500. I don't want to call 70 and that's it.
Well, he makes the call. Maybe he thinks that Cy's going to come in behind him. Cy overcalls with king deuce. Wow.
Well, there's really no implied odds against Cy, though. If Cy, say, had, like, 9 deuce.
And look at this, the turn's a deuce.
Wow.
Cy checks.
And I got to tell you, this might go check, check, check. We'll see. Now,
Well, no, I mean, George has money left. I assume he's going to move in here.
now, if somebody had, say, ace-8, doesn't change anything because they have 8s and deuces with an 8 kicker, while George has 8s and 5s.
He checks, and let's see if Jerry takes the card here. He does. He does.
Wow. Well,
George
hey.
actually checked it. And the river, though, is a 10. That's no help.
No, and Cy's going to win this. Can you imagine it's time to value bet if you're Cy, right?
And he's going to come out and he's going to bet.
Now, it's always looks like $70.
Yeah.
Now, it's always funny.
60.
60, okay. It's always funny. Cy bets there. Now, George is going to call. Or did he move in?
No, I think he just called. He played the
Just
hand
called.
relatively conservatively.
Now, it's always funny. Cy slow plays the trip deuces there. You've got to start putting your opponents on a hand. You go, okay, the board is 8-5 deuce. Okay, maybe you put one of your opponents on an 8.
I don't know how on earth you can check the turn there.
I mean, don't you think maybe one of your opponents has either 3-4 or 6-7? You got to realize that there are scary cards that can come out.
There was a hand that I saw in a 5-10 game this afternoon that totally baffled me. A guy had basically the flop came out 10-8-8, okay, with 2 spades. A guy came out and bet 25 from early position. I think it was limped around.
Right.
And a guy in the button raised him 75. And I hadn't seen this guy, so I was eager to see what he turned over because I wanted to see if he actually raised with trips.
Right.
The turn was, I believe, an offsuit 3.
Okay, so you
Was
got
not
10-8-8-3.
2 spades. Turn was an offsuit 3. It definitely was not a card that could complete a straight draw.
Right,
turn.
right.
The guy from up front checked. He actually called the bet, the raise.
Okay.
The guy from up front checked, and the guy from up back checked. And the river
Okay.
was like an offsuit deuce. The guy from up front checked, and the guy bet like 90. And I think it was Gus who called from up front, and the guy turned over trip 8s, like ace 8. But he didn't have. He checked the turn. He raised him on the flop, but he gave him a free card on the turn and did not build the pot up. It's not like he filled up on the turn, as we often say. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Right.
like he was scared of a straight
You'd
draw
almost,
getting there.
I mean, you probably expected him to turn over, say, a spade draw or, say, Jack 9,
Right.
where he had some sort of straight draw or flush draw and missed.
Or maybe, he filled up on the turn and he was trying to play cagey, as we often
Exactly.
say. Not just a bare trip 8s. I mean, that was crazy. David Kelsey's raised here.
And what did Gus call him?
I don't know.
He didn't show it.
Showdown.
Commentates on his son. That's kind of hard to do, isn't it?
And David's going to take it down here with the ace-king. Well, it was funny because I've never seen someone actually, raise
Wow,
on
look
the
at that stack of chips, man. He's got $3,500 in front of him.
raise on the flop with trips and then check the turn with trips when there's all kinds of draws out there. It was a little strange.
Yeah, that is definitely strange. But
Yeah.
you play poker as much as you and I do, you see a lot of strange stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
I got to tell you, I mean, Kelsey's having a much better time in this game than he did in that whale game,
Yeah.
where he lost that big pot to Frank Mariani. This has got to be one of his biggest scores ever on the show.
It's a big score for this game.
Oh, huge. He's up $3,000 tonight. In just, 3 hours? Not even.
Boston's going to raise it up here to 30. He's got
Canadian, is that okay?
big lick suited here, 96 of clubs. Aaron calls the Jack 10 offsuit. Now, I assume I like Jack 10 offsuit better than, say, King Queen offsuit, even Queen Jack offsuit.
Now-
all the straights you make are the nuts.
Now, I know you're somewhat of a conservative player. Would you ever raise here when you get a bet from 30? Call. Would you ever re-raise it with ace-queen suited?
Out of the blind?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Or
I
would
think
you just
might.
smooth call?
I think you might.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you might.
Come on in, water's warm.
I mean, a lot of dead money in there, or do you
Yeah.
want to kind of play cagey and just see a flop? 2 ways to play it here.
All right, you got white.
You're going to have to raise an awful lot, though, because you don't want to see it 6 ways. You don't want to raise it $50.
Well, how's that
It would have
flop?
been a great flop for him. 8-4-4 here.
Now, Cy's got trip 4s. Jaime's got top pair.
Gus has got overcards and a flush draw. We could see some real fireworks here.
Now,
Now, this
Gus-
is a
Nah.
time here for Boston where, obviously, you know what? You raise, just get him. Get rid of
Yeah.
it.
Now, the interesting thing on Gus is going to check it, and I guess he's going to check call or check raise. But I got to tell you, with ace-queen of hearts here, I bet right into the flop. I try to take it down right now.
Now, look at this Jaime.
Checks it.
Jaime checks it, and Boston does bet with 9-6.
And watch Cy just smooth call.
But, it's going to work for Cy, though, because he's probably going to get a chip. Actually, you know what, though? I think that when Cy calls, if I had Gus's hand, I might just call. Because I think I'm looking at Cy here, and I might put him on a 4.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to check raise myself out of it. You know what I mean? I might, you know what? You're going to play trips cagey? Well, I'm just going to call and get a free, almost like a free card from my flush card.
Let me ask you this. I think Gus only has about $450.
Yeah.
Would you ever 125, 125?
Well, yeah,
the
that is a
pot
little
is
bit
now
different.
the pot is now 200. Actually, the pot is like $500. Would you ever just say, I'm all in with ace queen of hearts and I want to see all the cards?
Well, Cy is going to raise. Oh, that's a change.
300 total? That is 300.
He's going to make it 300 now if you're Gus.
Well, Jaime's going to easily get out of this one, huh?
Yeah.
So you can't give Boston much credit for anything here, can you? Gus kind of wondering how to play this hand. Now, at this point, if you put Cy on a 4, which I think you can, is there any way you just want to not play it?
Well, he's trying to figure out what to do here.
Yeah,
Can you ever just get away from it here?
I mean, I really think it's push or fold it away here. I mean,
well, it's not a push. It's basically a call all in.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, though, at this point, you put Cy on a 4, and if you put Cy on a 4, well, then you've got to reduce your outs.
Yeah, but what I would tell you, though, is at this point, I don't put Cy on a 4 because I've seen him play some.
Okay.
If I'm Gus, I'd probably make this call. I think that my overcards and possibly my flush cards are all good.
Okay, hey.
Because Cy has raised the flop. Now, I'm wrong in this case, but I'm going to go through my thought process.
Well, in that case, you just move all in.
Yeah. Or in this case, basically make a call.
Yeah, call all in, right.
Yeah.
And that'll obviously get Jaime out, and there'll be heads up here.
And the only other question, though, is do you think that maybe Jaime is sandbagging a 4?
I mean, there's an awful lot of money in the pot. You've got to realize it was $30 6 ways, $180, $300. Now you're talking about an $800 pot.
$400 to call.
$400 to call.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting 2 to 1 there.
Well, if your overcards and your flush cards were good, you'd only need about 1 to 1, obviously.
Oh, if you think your overcards are good, but you might even call just thinking your flush is good.
Well, now Boston can't even call here. He has nothing. I mean, Ivy's out of there.
Yeah. And Cy's going to take this down.
I mean, it's basically a min raise here. I mean, it's an $800 bot, $200 to call, but Boston has nothing here.
No, he's got absolutely nothing. No pair, no draw.
Can't make this call.
And he throws it away. Cy takes down about a $400 pot. Now, I don't mind the way Gus lays that down. I mean, obviously he played ace-queen slow. He let everybody stay in there 6 ways. Got a big flop, but at the same time, he figured somebody's got a 4. Pick a spot. Pick a better spot there, and I have no problem with laydown.
I sometimes wonder if these guys email us in jest, because we got an email here from Alex, and if it's not, I apologize, but he says, "Hey guys, love the show. I was wondering when a person is calling a pre-flop raiser with a hand like a low pocket pair or suited connector, how deep do you suggest they be for different types of hands?"
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that's in jest, but
maybe it's not. Yeah,
I'm going to take for granted that a lot of our viewers watch the show for 60 or 70 minutes and then turn it off.
It's just funny because we haven't necessarily had this question. Now we've had it like 3 times tonight.
Yeah,
kind of from different people that I think have kind of come on the show at different times. But again, we like to go with pocket pairs being about 10 times, maybe suited connector 15 or 20 times.
Yeah, it really depends on who you're playing against. Will they pay you off?
Right.
How much money you have? How much money
they have? What kind
of
hands they normally raise with?
Exactly.
All
now,
those variables.
If you know somebody only raises with big pocket pairs, and you also know they can never get away from them, well then you can call with almost a little less implied odds because you know you can get paid off if you hit your hand.
This pot was limped around. And George has picked up an ace here, ace-4 in late position. He's going to bet in the cutoff.
No, why not? No,
how
about Jaime's hand, though? Jaime's got top pair with the club draw. Now, we talk about this. You usually don't want to go to war with this because you figure you're behind, right, and you only have 12 outs. You need to catch your 5 or a club. But in this case, Jaime's actually ahead.
Now, I got to tell you, though, that's a hand. Now, Jaime calls and Boston calls. And the turn is an 8 in Boston. Well, no, he did not make the straight, but Jaime's got the nuts.
And it checks around.
And the river's a 9, and now Boston has a straight. And Jaime checks it again. He checked the nuts twice. And Boston doesn't fall for it. Wow. I'm going to tell you, I really usually like Jaime's game, but tricky. I mean, put it this way, too. If Jaime checks and Boston bets there, Boston is going to fold to your check raise. So why not just bet and hope that Boston calls, right? Doesn't that make more sense?
Exactly.
If Jaime comes and bets there, somewhat marginal amount, I think he gets a call from Boston. Instead, he risks checking, and then in that case, Boston checks the straight right behind him. That was unbelievable.
It always amazes me. I mean, you look at sometimes, the funniest thing, oftentimes somebody will do that to me. They'll check a monster. I'll check behind them, right? And they'll go, oh, man, I thought you were going to bet. And I just look at him I'm like, do you really think that I'm going to, let's say I put a $60 bet in there and you make it $260. Do you really think I'm going to call the extra $200?
Look at this. Sai's got jacks. He's going to raise. And David Kelsey's got pocket rockets over there. Unbelievable night for this guy in C2.
I got to tell you, I'm really glad that we went come with him. Glad that we got 50% of his action.
Raise.
And he is going to re-raise.
Does he know about that?
Yeah, I'll let him know.
Okay, good.
Now, I don't know if you can get a shot at how much Sai has in front of him. Sai's got maybe 500 or 600 in front of him. He's got a lot.
And I got to tell you, he just won a huge pot there, and I got to tell you,
that
big a raise, you can't call this.
You cannot. You can't probably not call here.
No, definitely not.
And you definitely aren't going to push. I think that Jacks is actually a pretty simple muck. Obviously, we can see it, but he calls.
You've got to realize the worst hand David could have here is ace-king suited. And if you have ace-king suited, you're out of position with Jacks. You have no idea where you're at.
Well, let's see if we see a ragged board here.
Oh, there it is. And is Jacks going to go broke
Is
here?
he going to go broke here? You can't beat pocket tens either here, Dave. That's another hand you talked about.
Now, the only thing he can beat is ace-king, and he can beat nines. Kelsey's not making that move with nines. Maybe he has ace-king, but...
But look at this. David checks it. Check, check. And now both players have spade draws.
Yeah, and look at this. He's going to induce the bluff. He's played it a little cagey.
I got to tell you,
this.
The funny thing here, though, is David might think he played it right. I can see Sai maybe getting away from this. If David bet the flop, I think he might have all of Sai's money.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, against the type of player that we know, we've seen from Sai.
We see players all the time playing it a little cagey like that. And is he going to raise?
No, he's just going to call. He's got the nut spade draw here as well.
He does.
And the river is a 4.
300.
And now Sai is going to bet 300.
And do you move all in here? I mean, do you move all in here, or and now you're scared? Have you scared yourself and you think maybe the guy's got queens or tens?
No, I think you move in here because I don't think that Sai, with the stack sizes this size, can fold a queen. I think this is an easy push. He only has 400 left. You know what? I'm going to risk 400 here. Now, the only thing you might think, you can't beat a flush. You can't beat a 4. Obviously, you can't beat a set of tens or queens.
Yeah.
But I actually make a value raise here. Now, if I'm 3,000 deep and he's 3,000 deep, no, I call.
I'd probably just call.
But in this case, he has to call with the queen. He might even call with jacks here, right?
I think he does call with jacks.
I have to call.
I have to call?
I'm really... I don't know what David was thinking about that hand. He's played it well tonight, but I just... Well, he slow played himself on the flop, and then the board just got scarier and scarier for him.
Well, I think that's what happened
and he left $400 on the table.
Well, I don't see how the 4 is scary.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know what the hell he was doing.
But he clearly scared himself, and we see that all the time. Where sometimes a card comes off that doesn't necessarily kill your action, doesn't necessarily kill your hand, but it scares you so much that you make no more money on the pot.
Right.
And the funniest thing is that if it goes check and Kelsey bets say 200 or 300, Sai might move all in with his jacks, and all of it might go in. You don't know.
Now Kelsey might play devil's advocate and say, if I bet the flop, Sai's going to fold jacks there. Oh, well, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
But I think that once again, you've actually had somebody else build the pot up so much that with 400 left into a pot that's already 900, I'm going to move in. If he's got a flush, if he has a 4, if he has a set, then so be it. But I'm not deep. I'm not risking $3,000.
Right, you're
I'm
only
making a $400 value risk.
I mean, the only thinking is this guy now, he raised it, and now he called my $200 re-raise. What might you put him on that he could call me with? And you'd have to say, okay, he either has kings or jacks. Obviously, if he has queens or tens, you're dead.
2 players.
I mean, you almost have to specifically put him on either ace-queen, actually, kings, or jacks, because those are probably the only hands that he pays you off with.
Jack 7-7 here. Jerry's going to lead out with 8s. Now, Sai's got a flush draw.
Yeah. Now, if Sai plays this aggressive, he'll take it down. And he's going to raise it, and he wins it right away. Yeah. Nice aggressive semi-bluff there by Sai. And Kelsey continues to run this table here. He's got over $4,000 now.
Now, we had a post here by Todd Meepson's brother, Joe Meepson. He says, Bart and Dave, when are we going to see you guys play on the show? Last time we only saw Dave for an hour and make the play with 8-8 against Corporation Mike. it would be great to see you and Bart evaluating each other's play live and practicing what you preach. Well, I agree with you. You know, I think when I come back from Chicago, which is in 2 weeks, Dave and I are going to start alternating on Fridays, maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's
discussion, Evelyn?
That's the plan. I mean, I would love to see us play once a month each.
I know Dave is, but I mean,
I think it's good for the show, and I think it's good for our viewers.
You know, the other thing, too, is that
I know
Joe
it's good for
actually
us.
said that he wants to come in here with you on Friday, a week from Friday.
Yeah, it's actually next Friday is actually going to be a lot of fun. I think I'm going to have Alan in here for 10 minutes, maybe. I think we're talking about having Hav in here for 10 minutes, possibly Greek poker guard George Georgian, and a player like Jonas, and even Jason Kachitani. And they all want to come in for, say, 10, 15 minutes of kind of specialized commentary. And I'm not going to spend too much time interviewing them. I really want to get their input on the game.
7-way action here. I believe it was a straddled pot, and it's limped around, so it's a $70 pot here.
Well, it's not a bad flop for nines. I mean, George has got the only one card over his.
Well, Sai is going to come out and bet with sixes here.
Well,
and I don't know if George can. I think you might lay it down now. I mean, you got 4 people next to act after you.
Yeah, well, he's going to call, though.
Now, Aaron's got ace-6. That's an easy laydown, and George is way ahead here of Sai.
Yeah.
Huh?
You get aces, someone has jacks and pays you off.
Two players.
Turns an 8.
Oh, that's now George is open-ended.
George is open-ended. Sai needs one of George's set cards here to make his straight.
Oh, Sai's in terrible shape. I mean, Sai needs what?
He can't hit his own set because
Right.
George will have a straight.
Sai needs a 9 and only a 9.
And look at this. George actually put some money in here. It looks like 175 or so, and Sai called.
Wow.
This might go check on the river. The river is a 5. Changes nothing.
Except that Sai is now open-ended as well.
Well, now you look at it. If you're George, did this guy bet on a weak 10? Do I need to bet him off of it? Or does he have busted spades and I can just check it down and win in a showdown?
Yeah, it almost scares you in the sense that, wait a second, why isn't this guy betting? He's betting because he doesn't need to?
The pot's about 300, and it's going to go check.
And I like the check here by George. I think that I don't think you can get Sai to lay down a 10 there, and the way he played it, I think he played it like a weak 10.
Yeah, I think this is
one of the few times where I don't like a value bet.
Tonight is actually, as Surf and Alana puts out, this is one of the biggest nights we've ever seen from a player in this game. I remember Jesus way back in the day. Shirley and I were doing it. One of the funnest nights we ever had, say, 5 or 6 months ago. Him and one of his Mexican Mexican stud player buddies was on the table, and they took ice out.
Ice, yeah.
And
well, that was the night of collusion, right?
Right, and then some other guy, accused them of colluding.
Yeah.
On a show where we show the cards. That was a funny night.
I love the fact that
Suckers night. That was the suckers night.
Like Jesus and his friend are colluding.
And we get a raise here to 50 by Aaron. He's got ace-jack suited.
50 total.
Big blind.
That shake must have gone to his head.
No.
Brain freeze.
And Sai makes a quick call here, Dave. Now, here's an example. Sai's got queen-jack. He is out of position. He's got 300 in front of him. Do I want to make a $50 call with queen-jack when I have 300 left, and I am in the second to worst position? Although he's going to get it heads up against the razor, though. He is dominated. King, 7-9.
And Aaron's going to continue. He's going to make a continuation bet here. He's missed, but Sai can't call.
Well, let's see how weak the bet is, though.
You know, it's funny. I'm checking out Barry Wood's post on 2+2, and I want to get to it in a second once Sai folds.
Well, we got to talk about it because I don't think Barry heard our comments earlier in the show. I think he's just joined into the game.
Yeah.
Well, Sai hasn't folded yet.
He's got nothing. What is he sticking around for? Gut shot? 210?
Maybe he senses some weakness.
I'll show you.
And that's always I love people like that. Hey, I'll show you what I got. And you're like begging the guy to fold, right?
It's funny though. That's sometimes inconsistent because I've seen guys say that and they know they have the best hand as well.
Yeah, but you can
to
just see them playing somewhat scared. They don't want. I actually saw a guy last night. He had top pair, top kicker, and he was begging Francois not to call the flush draw.
Yeah.
He said, "Don't call, man. Don't call. I know you got it. Francois goes, "You know what? I'm going to call. I'm going to gamble." The guy goes, "Oh, man." Sure enough, the heart came. The flush came. It was like he almost knew it was going to come. Anyway, so Barry Woods here on 2+2. He says, Kelsey has done well tonight. All it takes is 2 hands and hitting your draws. You know, and you wonder if Barry Woods listens to his own advice there, listens to what he's saying there. We always point out in No Love and Hold'em, do not have to win a lot of hands. Look at Kelsey. Kelsey has maybe played 10 hands all night. That's it. And he's not one of those tight knits. He doesn't sit there and wait for the nuts. He does mix it up a little bit, but he's really only played about 10 or 12 hands tonight, and that's all you have to do in No Limit Hold'em. You don't have to play a lot of hands.
And Barry, what Dave and I were saying earlier in the show was, again, I don't know if you're getting advice from somebody. I don't know if it's Kelsey or Gus or somebody else saying that, you know, you shouldn't play at the bike anymore. You should change it up because people know how much you play, or they know how you play. You know, they're too familiar with their play, with your play, so you shouldn't play anymore. And I cannot, and I don't think the both of us cannot disagree more.
Yeah,
with
I don't.
that.
I mean, you got to realize that now you're going to be going to another casino where they still might know how you play, but you have no idea how they play.
Right.
And this advice is from two people that I mean, a friend to a friend, really.
Right. No, I told Barry, you know, at the end of Friday, you know, he looked a little, just, you know, he was down because he's having a bad run of cards, and he's had kind of a dip in variance, which is always bound to happen. I don't think Barry played that badly on Friday.
Well, and this is an interesting case. You got a raise here from George, and Aaron is going to call out of the small blind with 5-6.
Yeah.
Not a hand I'd want to call out of the small blind with. Flop comes out Jack 8-3, and everybody's really missed this.
Well, George has got middle pair. He was the pre-flop raiser. I assume he's going to bet. Now, Sai's got bottom pair with an overcard. He's bet into that board. He's going to move in. We've seen him do it in the past with bottom pair.
Yeah, and sometimes you can sense this also. And I remember Sai has also lost a couple of big pots in the last 2 minutes. You wonder if Sai is tilting a little bit. Maybe he's ready to stop playing. Maybe he's ready to go home. He's ready to go broke. Sometimes you can almost sense that. You can smell it.
And George is asking how much it is here. And again, if you notice, remember the hand that Sai caught trip deuces with, and George was involved with it, he bet out on the deuce. So if you're paying attention, you can definitely think that Sai is capable of betting a hand that it does not have a jack in it from up front.
He probably would not bet a monster here either, would he?
Yeah. And I got to tell you, from what we've seen, it might look like, well, how can George call this? I don't necessarily think it's all that bad of a call here from what we've seen.
You know, it's funny. I played with Doyle Brunson at the World Series a couple of years ago, and Doyle Brunson actually, after he knocked out a young kid, he even said, he goes, he was ready to go home. And Doyle had called him with a hand as weak as ace-jack all in, and the kid had, like, king high. And look at it, he makes a good call there by George. And he's got Sai over a barrel. And Doyle even said, he quoted, he goes, the kid was ready to go home. He sensed it, he knew it. And I think George just sensed that as well.
Well, Sai has outs here. He could catch running diamonds an ace or a 3.
Well, now he needs an ace
or a 3. It does not come.
Nope.
George actually makes 2 pair there at the end.
2 pair. Now, there's one thing I will say about Barry Woods, and I'll say this about any player who kind of changes something about their play when they're running bad. Because if you believe it, well, then it's kind of a placebo effect in the sense that, yeah, it could work. If you think you're running bad because of this, if you think you're running bad because of the chair you're sitting in, and you change chairs, okay, I'm telling you that there's nothing to do with your chair, okay? It's the ass in the chair. But, hey, if you believe it, then, hey, it might help. Because confidence is a big part of this game.
Absolutely.
And if you feel like you're having a tough time in one casino, I've heard a lot of players say, yeah, I know it doesn't change anything, but it just changes my frame of mind. And if it changes your frame of mind, then it might be worth trying.
Well, the only thing I said, again, also in the beginning of the show, is I always have trouble when I head over there and play in the 600 game there, because I always get myself into these, it seems like every big critical decision in a big pot is a player-dependent decision, and I just don't have the experience over there that I do here.
Well, No Limit Hold'em, I mean, the best weapon you have in No Limit Hold'em is information on your players, on your opponents. What kind of hands they play, what kind of hands they raise with, what kind of hands they call with, so forth and so on. And if you don't know this, it makes it that much harder to play.
Jerry's raised it up here to 25 with ace-queen offsuit. And it looks like we get a call here by Sai.
Now I feel like now I got to call house.
Well, either way, I wish Barry Woods all the luck in the world. But don't forget about us, man. Otherwise, we'll have to come there and
Anybody been watching The Sopranos?
chase you.
You guys started season 1. I've never watched it.
Well, Sai is called with ace-4 here.
This season right now.
It's good, right? It's good, right? I love it.
And Sai is rebought for how much?
Last season was good too.
The end especially was
200. He's calling 25 with ace-4.
Well, he's hit his 4. Is he going to move all in here?
3-4-6 here with a
Yep.
couple diamonds.
Jaime's got second pair with the open-ended straight draw, but there are 2 diamonds out there.
Well, George is going to come out lead with an overpair here with the 8s. He's going to lead right out.
Hey, why not? And Jaime's going to call.
I bet you he
Jaime's hand is probably strong enough to make a raise. The problem with the 2 diamonds out there might scare you.
And Cy is going to overcall with ace-4.
That's about par.
And Cy's in bad shape here.
George is about a 50% favorite against the rest of the field. The turn's a deuce, and Jaime's made the flush.
Yeah, and you can see what an overwhelming favorite he is now.
Just saying, I think AJ might get off this year.
Oh, excuse me, a straight. Thank you, Ronnie.
Yeah,
Made the straight.
He can only chop this pot. He cannot lose it. And if
And
a
he's
5
gonna
were to
push.
come, he can chop.
He's going to push here.
Like trying to be around it, but
And can you put him specifically on, say, 6-5 or 4-5?
gets off doing something stupid.
I mean, I know you think of a range of hands, but is there any way you go, this guy's either got a set or he's got specifically 6-5 or 4-5? That's the kind of hand that Jaime might be in there with in middle position that he limped in with.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, George's hand is a pure bluff catcher now.
Such
Yeah.
obviously.
How do I think you have me beat?
I mean, I don't necessarily know if Jaime would even bet 2 pair there.
Yeah, now George is saying, I don't know why, but I think you have me beat. And, it's a good lay down here by George. I really, when he lays it down. And he throws it away. And you can see, George is obviously not a calling station in the sense he makes a real tough call with just second pair last hand and wins about a $400, actually about a $600 pot off of Cy. And here he lays down an overpair. And that was really playing the player. I mean, he's playing Jaime and he's playing Cy. Clearly 2 different guys.
I called you eight, but not his. See any paint up there? Any?
Got about 10 minutes left in the show. Again, tomorrow's going to be 25-50. No limit hold'em. Everybody check out the Lakers website. Take a look at that ad for Live with the Bike. Fun little thing that's going to be on there for a while.
Yeah, whole year. I hope the Lakers do well.
Yeah, I hear that Phoenix is up quite a bit here. Of course, the Lakers have a 3-1 series edge.
Yeah.
And the next game comes back to Staples. It goes
Yeah,
1-1-1.
Game 6 is where the real
Right.
one is.
Yeah.
And I imagine the Lakers are going to come out and win that one.
It's interesting how sometimes in baseball, basketball, and other sports, they do a 2-3-2 best-of-7 set,
Right.
and sometimes they do 2-2-1-1-1. How do they
I think sometimes it's
choose that?
travel.
Is it?
It depends on travel. Yeah, a lot of times if there's they're cross country like Boston versus
Yeah.
say the Dodgers, they don't want to go back 1-1-1.
Yeah.
But let's say here it's Phoenix, LA. I think they
Right.
can go back and forth.
I think 2-2-1-1-1 is a better setup.
Me
if
too.
You can do it. Now we have a bet here. It was limped around a bet by Kelsey with King 9. Now he gets called by Gus with King 5. And
He's
again,
got
that
top
might,
pair, no draw.
I got to tell you, that might be a hand. Well, that's probably a fold hand for me. And look at this. The Case King comes on the turn.
Now, George is still open-ended, and we talk about reverse implied odds. If somehow he sticks around and catches his 9, he's in trouble.
Kelsey's going to bet again. Now, I got to tell you, when you're in there with King 5, that king does not change that much for me against a solid player like Kelsey who might be betting in with a king.
It changes nothing.
Because if he has a king, I'm beat.
You've got to realize, if you were beat on the flop, you're still beat.
Right.
If you had the best hand on the flop, well, then you're still the best hand. The king on the turn changed nothing.
Now, the only thing for this here is that actually if Gus might actually raise. He might actually get Kelsey off of the hand because Kelsey's hand's pretty much a garbage hand, too.
Kelsey's not going anywhere.
No, I don't think, not with these stack sizes.
No, I mean, he's got $4,000 in front of him. I think Gus has got maybe $400.
Yeah.
I think if Gus had a bigger king, say King Jack or King Queen, with 2 clubs out there, I think he raises the flop. I don't think he smooth calls with a big king.
Draw a heavy board.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Well, again, I think it might even be more of a reason why you actually might min-raise there with King 5 or fold. Now, it might sound crazy. You've got a very weak hand, but again, that's a pretty draw. You got Broadway board with 2 clubs. I become more and more of a proponent. Sometimes I talk about just calling with top pair. But if you've got top pair and a weak-ass kicker, you might just try to min-raise it and almost get, like you say, get yourself a two-card free showdown or something.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is you've got to realize that when you've got top pair, no kicker, your hand is not strong enough to just call.
Right.
You need to protect it. You need to find out where you're at as quickly as you can.
Right.
Some people make the mistake of saying, well, my hand's not strong enough to raise. Well, if your hand's not strong enough to raise...
He's going to call here, Dave. And this is almost, it's a crying call.
You've got to realize if your hand is not strong enough to raise, then your hand is not strong enough to call.
This is going to be funny. Regardless of what George does, if the river comes deuce offsuit, well, maybe Kelsey thinks he's got the best hand now anyways. I wonder if it might go check on the river.
I got to tell you, there's no way I'm checking the river unless a club comes off or an ace comes off. And an ace, I'm not quite as scared as an ace as a club. We always talk about the clubs are more, flush is always more apparent than the straight card here.
Oh, George is going to call here.
And if a 9 comes
Let's
off,
see if we can get an offsuit blank, a low blank. Oh, River's a 9, reverse implied odds. George checks the straight.
oh my! And now it's time to value bet. If you're Kelsey here, you might get called by a king, and you might get raised by a straight.
You might get check raised here by George.
Oh man! Talk about reverse implied odds.
Yep. The pot is about $500 here. Now Gus only has 300. He should probably put.
And he bets 300.
Kelsey, yeah, Gus has got 300, and Kelsey should put Gus in, and he bets 300 here.
And Gus has got no information about how his hand is. All he's done is call, and now he's in a spot where, shoot, I'm probably just going to raise here. Now, what does George do? Does George just call? I mean, is that why? I mean, I'm not sure why he was in there with Queen Jack if he's just going to call.
You got to think that he's probably planning to check raise here on the river?
I would assume so. I mean, it's tough to put your opponent on, say, King 9. You might put him on, say, Ace King, King Queen, King Jack, but it was an unraised pot.
I got to tell you. Especially if George check raises here, I'm very confident with King 9. I call probably without hesitation.
Oh,
you're not scared
call.
of King 10.
Are you kidding me?
But it's going to be 1,000 more if he check raises in here.
You got to be kidding me! I chop my dick off and I throw it on the table.
Right.
You gotta be, I mean, come on, King 9 here? I got the second nuts. I mean, you really think this guy's got King 10 and he's been playing it this way the whole time like that?
Well, that's the point.
Hey, all the power to you, buddy.
Right.
Look at Isaac. Isaac's like handing me his scissors.
look how
pretty scary.
Look how troubled Gus is here with this call. Obviously,
Well, he's gotten no information. I think he knows
the pot
he's
is
behind.
800. It's 300 to call, and he's going to call. And now the real question is, what is George going to do?
George moves all in.
No,
wow.
wait a minute. No. I think that was Gus that moved in.
Oh, wow. I thought George moved all in.
No. The question now is, what does George do? Because it was a $300 bet. He's moved in for $360.
Now, just so you know, if George just calls, David can only call.
Yeah,
he
he
cannot
raise.
re-raise.
It's got to be 100%.
It hasn't been reopened.
And
I made my hand and I'm staring.
And
there
you're
he
right,
goes.
George.
That's what he says. I
Yeah.
made my hand and now I'm dead. What do I do now?
I don't think George. Well, by that, I think George is probably just going to call here. He's not
Well,
going to raise.
he's clearly going to call. There's no way he's going to fold his hand. He's trying to think
Look
of this.
at Kelsey. Looks like he's looking at a pain look on his face.
And he's just going to call?
Wait a minute.
I mean, you only have two moves here for George. Call or raise all in. You can't reopen it.
Right.
There's no point in doing a mini raise, right?
And look at Kelsey try to have a pain look on his face. Dave, the pot now is about $1,200. It's $350.
And look, it's the night of the Kelsey.
He's just going to call. He's going to call. King 9 is going to take it down here.
And is Kelsey even going to put the money in the pot?
Yeah, Kelsey's asking you if he can re-raise.
Yeah.
Well,
King 9, and Kelsey takes down another huge pot.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, once again, another reason why you wouldn't. I mean, calling Queen Jack with a paired board and a 2-flush out there, too.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. What was he looking for? I mean, if an ace comes off, couldn't the guy have Ace King? If a 9 comes off, the guy could have King 9. If a club comes off, the 9 of clubs or the ace of clubs, so one of those players could have a flush.
I've never seen so much one lopsided game. That guy wins all day.
Queen Jack came last week.
Absolutely insane.
That was winning.
So if
Man.
you add an extra, how much money did, Dave Kelsey won another, maybe 1,400 that hand. So I would say add 1,400 on to what he had before that hand.
Oh, this guy, he's up $5,000 in a 300-500 game. This is the biggest night ever.
So we're doing a final chip count. This does not include, I believe, this hand.
No, it does not.
It does not. So he's
Dave-
actually at about 5,400 here.
Oh, wow.
So let's take a look at the differences now.
And so David is up.
He's almost up $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane. That is
incredible.
absolutely fantastic
5,000
night.
for a 3 to 5 game.
Yeah, he's actually up 4,900, like you said. I mean, that is absolutely insane.
And this is
Man.
going to be the last hand of the night here, Dave. Wow.
Not only our big winner for the night, but probably our biggest winner ever in this game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, by far now.
I mean, that's insane. Up $5,000 in, what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
You did? You raised this blind? I won, wow.
I mean, that's almost as good as Super Mario's hourly rate.
So we're going to do one more hand here. We didn't see a flop. Unbelievable stuff here. 5,000.
The only way you could have had it is if you rivered it. You couldn't put him on 2 pair on the flop.
And you can see that Gus, like you said, he got no information. He just got stuck in there. You talk about when you're playing up and down high suited cards, when you flop trips with the upper card, you really don't know where you're at if you're going to take a lot of heat.
No, and that's one of the reasons you really don't go for those straights with the two flush out there or with a paired board. Let's give George credit for at least not re-raising when he got there, though.
Right.
Got an email here from Shaddy. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to it, but you know what? Maybe tomorrow night we'll have a chance to answer it. It is an interesting email. Thank you very much, Shaddy.
Got a $40 raise here by seat number 1. Jack, looks like Jack 9 offsuit.
George go in too? Did they all go all in?
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, man,
I was ahead the whole way.
George has just been Kelsey's bitch all night long. Unbelievable.
We all limped.
You kind of knew the 9 was going to come, didn't you, the way Kelsey was going?
The 9 made his straight, and your
So Aaron calls out of position here with 8-10 offsuit. Ace 4-4. This is probably going to go check that fold, I would imagine.
Yeah. You got to give it to George. I mean, I got to tell you, he's like one of those like old school fighters. He gets his ass knocked down time and time again, but he gets up and keeps fighting.
So that's going to do it for us. It's a pretty fun Tuesday night, I got to tell you. Record-breaking night there for
Yeah,
David
it was a lot of
Kelsey
fun.
in C2. $5,000. My goodness.
That's
That's a lot of money in
that's a
this
night.
game. So for everybody here in the booth, I'm Bart Hansen for Dave Tuckman. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
For all your family and friends. Be masturbating to this broadcast. Yeah.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.